Hello, everybody, and welcome to beautiful and sunny Ann Arbor, Michigan, for today's matchup between the Michigan Wolverines and the Indiana Hoosiers. I'm Austin Falco alongside Leo Blavin, bringing you all the action here at Ray Fisher Stadium for WCBN Sports. Michigan looking to avoid the sweep here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Indiana has taken the first two games of this three-game set. And Leo, what are we looking for today if Michigan wants to avoid being swept for the first time this season?
Yeah, Michigan's just got to find a way to get more timely hitting, but really it's going to start on the mound with Michael Hendrickson. We saw Oliver Jaske pitch arguably his best game of the year, giving up just one run in the first inning. He didn't get any run support, and then yesterday, the complete opposite. Michigan puts up 9 runs. You usually feel good about that. However, Ryan Newdoff got absolutely shelled by the Hoosiers, and we know Indiana has a lot of power throughout their lineup. They lead the Big Ten in home runs. It'll be up to Michael Hendrickson to try to limit their potent offense and just hope that the bats can help them out a little bit. Michigan, though, has been bad in both facets throughout this weekend at different times. They haven't had a complete game since Tuesday against Michigan State. They need to go back to playing Michigan baseball, which means good pitching and better hitting.
And speaking of good pitching, Michael Hendrickson starts off the leadoff hitter for Indiana, Tony Butler, with a fastball that is tapped fouled on the left field line for strike number 1. First pitch time, 12:01 p.m. here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Henderson gets his sign, comes set, and winds up. Big swing and miss there at the off-speed pitch. Brings the count to 0-2 on Tony Butler.
Yeah, nice confident start by Hendrickson, trying to get in his rhythm. Lefty on righty matchup, a good way to start if you're a starting pitcher.
Henderson takes a breath, and the 0-2 pitch. This one tapped just behind the plate. Barely got a piece of that one, did Butler. After Butler, the second baseman for Indiana, it'll be the left fielder Craig Dedelo and third baseman Luke Miller, here slated to begin things in the top half of the first inning for the Hoosiers. Another 0-2 pitch here coming from Hendrickson. Misses high and away for a ball, 1-2. The rest of the Indiana lineup consists of the right fielder Logan Sowers batting 4th, designated hitter Matt Lloyd batting 5th, first baseman Matt Gorski bats 6th. We'll get a 1-2 pitch here from Hendrickson, popped up high into left center field. Slater ranging over. Lewis calls him off and makes the grab without much trouble for out number 1.
Yeah, the first time this weekend we haven't seen a hard wind either blowing in or out. On Friday night it was blowing hard in towards home plate. Yesterday it seemed like every ball that was popped up into the outfield was going to carry the left field wall. Today it's pretty dead wind, so certainly a relief for a pop out and fly ball pitcher like Michael Hendrickson, who likes to keep pitches up in the zone and get guys to pop out rather than ground out.
See how well that strategy works today as now we get to the power hitting part of the Indiana order, starting with Craig Dedelo. He grounds this one over to first, though. Bivens has a bit of trouble with it, so he has to flip to Hendrickson, who records the out at first.
Yeah, nice play. Good awareness by Hendrickson, a savvy move for the junior, as that's when almost every time Bivens is going to scoop up and go to first unassisted. This time after bobbling it and having a bit of trouble, Hendrickson alertly was already making his way to first, and if he wasn't, I think we'd probably see the man aboard in Dedelo, who was speedy out of the box. But heads-up play by the pitcher, Hendrickson, helping out his own cause with some good defense.
So with 2 outs now, up steps the third baseman, Luke Miller. First pitch he sees from Hendrickson is an off-speed pitch that catches the top half of the zone for strike number 1. Henderson working quickly now, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball catches the low inside corner for strike 2. Henderson throwing a lot of strikes here early on, getting ahead of the first 3 Indiana hitters he's faced today. In a rhythm now comes set for the 0-2 pitch. This one is tapped towards Bivens. Bivens has some more trouble with it over there. Throws to Hendrickson. It gets past Hendrickson and bounces off the Indiana dugout. Miller will not advance those. A good backup there from Harrison Wenson prevents that. But there is a runner on now with 2 outs in the first.
Yeah, and Michigan, which came into this game with the best fielding percentage in the Big Ten. Second straight game we see an error early on, and Bivens has been rock solid at first all year. That's the second one that ate him up, and this time not able to deliver a strike to Hendrickson, who has to be cognizant now. Any grounder towards first, he's going to have to make that run over to the bag because Bivens really struggling early on in this game. Uncharacteristic for the first baseman, who's usually as sure-handed as anyone on the infield.
And it is indeed an error charge to the first baseman, Bivens. And that brings up the right fielder for the day, Logan Sowers. First pitch he sees from Hendrickson is swung at and missed here on the fastball for strike one.
And that's just an example of what we've seen all weekend, though, from Michigan. Things just seem out of sort after steamrolling a top 20 Oklahoma side and then dominating in-state rival Michigan State. This weekend, it's looked like a completely different team. The fielding hasn't been as crisp, the bats, the pitching. It's all been off and out of sync, and the Wolverines hoping to change that today.
The second pitch from Henderson, another fastball. This one fouled behind the seats on the first base side and out of play for strike number 2. Henderson, unlike what we've seen of the pitching yesterday for the Wolverines, getting ahead of hitters early on, throwing strikes and not putting them in places where Indiana can really drive the ball. It seemed like everything Indiana was hitting yesterday was hard hit. Comes set now in the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Doesn't break quite enough as that one misses high for a ball, 1-2.
And Indiana, just 2 innings yesterday in which they didn't have a runner on base at some point in the inning. Already a runner reaching for the Hoosiers here in the first, but Hendrickson should do his best to limit that.
And this time he gets a ground ball out of Sowers to shortstop Bernard Fields. Throws over to Kerr, covering second for out number 3. So after 1/2 inning, Indiana gets a runner on with an error, but does not score. We are scoreless here after 1/2 inning here at Ray Fisher Stadium. You're listening to WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan Baseball, the official student radio broadcast for Michigan Baseball.
I didn't bring the iPad today. We only have 2 viewers, so I figure we can take breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably just your parents.
Yeah.
And my parents. So.
Yeah. It's
If they want to talk to us, they can call us during the breaks.
Yeah.
I like they upgraded the water. We got the fancy bottles.
It's easier to drink it, yeah. Like you can drink it while on air and just squirt it in.
You ever run that? I guess you haven't been a
Big
student.
10K?
Because I think it's in Chicago.
It is. I thought about doing it this year. Like
When is it?
I was going to do the Big House July 23rd.
Yeah, I wanted to do the Big House too, but we had a game.
Yeah, there was a game, and for several weeks around January, February, I was started to run and was like, okay, I can definitely do this.
5K, you could jog. You don't need to be you don't have to train for a 5K. I used to do Pat's Run every year in Phoenix, which is 4.2 miles, and you jog a little. Yeah.
I mean, I was ready to do it after a couple weeks of just getting back. 'Cause I never run. I hate running and whatnot. But went to the CCIB a few times, ran on the treadmill, and I was like, okay, I think I can.
You're finally
probably
tuned.
Go. Just gotta get used to the actual idea of running. Right,
and then you didn't.
I'll do the lineups and whatnot. Hello and welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium. Austin Falco alongside Leo Blavin bringing you all the action here between Michigan and Indiana for WCBN Sports. And no, Indiana was not able to score in the top half of the inning, so they'll turn the ball over to their starting pitcher for the day, Paulie Milto. Milto making only his 4th start of the season, his 14th appearance, though. Currently he sits at 3-2 with a 3.38 ERA. Opponents are hitting .263 against him in 40 innings of work this season. To lead off the game for the Wolverines, it'll be a bit of a different lineup than what we've seen so far this season and so far this weekend. It'll be Jake Bivens leading things off. First pitch he sees, catches the outside corner for a strike. After Bivens, it's going to be Johnny Slater, the center fielder, followed by the shortstop, Michael Berdar. Drew Lugbauer, the third baseman, bats 4th. Miles Lewis, the left fielder, is 5th. Designated hitter Nick Poirier bats 6th. As the second pitch here to Bivens clips him on the back. So Bivens,
that's a specialty.
For the 16th time this year, gets hit by a pitch, and the leadoff man is on here in the bottom of the first for the Wolverines.
And this isn't like you see far more often the collegiate softball game. Guys aren't leaning in to take pitches. They're throwing it too hard to do so, and you don't usually have time to react enough to lean into it. He just, for whatever reason, is either really encroaches on the plate or has a magnet in his front hip, because it seems like every time he comes up, he's a threat to get drilled.
The first pitch, Johnny Slater misses outside for a ball, and That one hit Bivens right between the 1 and the 8 on his back. That one's got to be pretty painful.
Second straight game we've seen him wear one.
The 1-0 pitch here to Slater. Misses low and in for a ball, 2-0. Paulie Milto stares in, gets his sign from the catcher Feynman today. Comes set with Bivens taking an aggressive lead over at first. Isn't going on the pitch. This pitch misses high to Slater, though, for bring the count to 3-0.
Not a great start for Milto.
After the first pitch strike to start the ball game, he's clipped Bivens and thrown 3 straight balls to Slater. Fourth pitch to Slater here, misses high and away for a ball, so a 4-pitch walk, and there are now 2 runners on with no one out for the Wolverines, bringing up the shortstop, Michael Berdard.
And we already see the lineup tinkering starting to pay off. Yesterday we saw Slater lead off, and he went 0 for on the day. Today Jake Bivens starts things off, wears a pitch as he's accustomed to doing. And anytime you get the leadoff man aboard to start a game, you always see starting pitchers react negatively. They never are comfortable seeing a guy already on base early on in the games. And now with runners at first and second both speedy, that brings up Michael Berdard back to hitting in his usual 3 spot, and I think that should pay dividends. It looked like the top 3 of the lineup yesterday were just uncomfortable in their new spots. Back to normal relatively with the absence of Akeo Thomas, just replacing him with Bivens to lead things off, and it's already paying off.
You mentioned the top 3 of the order. Slater, Berdard, and Lugbauer yesterday reaching base 1 time out of the 15 times they stepped up to the plate. Not the start Wolverines were looking for yesterday. Berdard here, though, squared around a bunt on the first pitch and pulled back as that one missed high, so a 6th straight ball thrown by the pitcher Milto has Berdard ahead in the count 1-0. He squares around again here on the 1-0 pitch, pulls back, but this one comes across at the belt for strike 1, evens the count up at 1-1.
Milto, this is his 14th appearance of the year, only had 11 walks coming into today's game, so not a guy who usually gives a lot of free passes, but not the case so far today, a hit by pitch and a walk.
1-1 pitch here to Berdard, swung at line on left field line, but that one's going to hook foul into the Wolverine bullpen and out of play.
He was looking fastball, got a breaking ball, and still decided to try and give it a ride, but well ahead of that one. Otherwise, that could have been extra bases. That was a really slow breaking ball. Milto, not a lot of pace on anything off speed, and I think Michigan has a chance to really do some damage early in this game if that pitch is any indication of the kind of stuff he's going to be bringing when he goes off speed.
Berdard chases one down in the dirt, but able to get a piece of it and foul it off near the Indiana dugout. Count's going to remain 1-2 on the Wolverine senior shortstop.
Yeah, good pitch over the outside part of the plate. Low, too, but Berdard doing just enough to foul that one off. That one was well outside the zone. Berdard, if you're going to get defensive, you've got to do just that and make any contact you can.
A little uncharacteristic of Berdard. Normally does not chase those pitches. Has a great eye at the plate. Leads to only 13 strikeouts and almost 160 at-bats on the year. And that great eye displayed there as he takes one just off the inside corner for a ball and evens the count up at 2-2.
Yeah, much more patient at-bats to start this game than we saw yesterday. Michigan seemed to be in a bit of a hurry yesterday to try to plate some runs, and it really cost them, I think, some opportunities early in that game. The bats didn't really come to alive till the 5th or 6th inning because they were overly aggressive. Good to see that patience back to the plate today, which is something we're used to seeing.
Milto turns back towards second and chases Bivens back. Berdard now ready for the 2-2 pitch from Milto. This one is hit high and deep down the left field line, but that one again is going to hook foul and well out of play. Count's going to remain 2-2, but Berdard has squared up a couple balls here in this at-bat, just a little too far out in front.
Yeah, and if I'm Milto at this point, I'm going to continue to go off speed because Berdard is clearly looking fastball. That's the second breaking ball he's been well ahead of. So don't give him anything to hit if you're Milto, and that means keep it off speed.
Another 2-2 pitch coming from Milto. This one hits Berdard right on the left shoulder, that lead shoulder. He'll walk down to first, shaking that arm a bit, but the base is loaded here with nobody out, and that'll bring up the ever-dangerous Drew Lugbauer.
Indiana's pitching has been absolutely flawless through the first 2 games, so if there's any thing to take comfort in for Indiana's head coach. It's got to be the fact that your bullpen is rested, and if this is any indication from Milto, this may not be a very long start for him. But Indiana certainly has a couple well-rested arms if they want to try to go for the sweep. Obviously, they have the luxury in already having won the series. But obviously, if you're the Hoosiers hoping to make an at-large run at the NCAA tournament, you've got to take as many wins against quality opponents as you can get. And in the Big Ten, there's only one ranked team, and it's the team you've already beat twice and are looking to go for the first sweep against the Wolverines all season.
That early troubles here from Milto is going to bring out a visit here from the associate head coach and pitching coach Kyle Bunn. He strides to the mound as a couple pitchers now make their way down to the bullpen.
Yeah, Chris Lemonis, I think, Indiana's head coach, going to have a quick hook today. Because if there's one thing Indiana's done exceptionally well this weekend, it's get ahead of Michigan early. They've never trailed so far on the weekend. And we've seen Michigan struggle to battle back against adversity so far in this series. The last thing the Hoosiers want to do is reverse course and give Michigan a crooked number in the first. But a great start if you're the Wolverines. Disciplined at the plate. Have not been given anything to put in play yet, but two guys have worn pitches and the other walked. So you'll take base runners any way you can get them. Already seeing, though, the tinkering in the lineup, switching Bivens to the leadoff man, really paying off for the Maize and Blue.
All three of the first men in the bottom of the first have reached base for the Wolverines. Drew Lugbauer, ever dangerous, already 2 grand slams on the year out of his 11 home runs. Stands in there in that left-handed batter's box, awaiting the first pitch here from Milto. This one misses in the dirt. Nice block there by Feynman to prevent a run from scoring. For the count now 1-0 on the big left-hander.
And we saw a grand slam from Wenton yesterday. Why not make it a double with the biggest home run hitter on Michigan's squad and Drew Lugbauer?
Milto comes set now in the 1-0 pitch. This one misses low in the dirt again. Brings count to 2-0 and Lugbauer in firm control here.
And interesting and certainly worth noting, Lugbauer's as big a slugger as Michigan has, and Indiana is not looking to concede a run here. The infield's playing really shallow for a guy with the bat speed of Drew Lugbauer. Going to be a really tough play if he can cork one, and even if it stays in the infield.
2-0 pitch now. Check swing. No swing, though, from Lugbauer. That one pitches low. And now 3-0 the count.
Yeah, and if you're Lugbauer, you're taking all the way here. Absolutely no sense in taking a swing, even if you're given something to hit. Milto just hasn't shown the ability to locate anything in the strike zone.
So Lugbauer now obviously in control of this at-bat, ahead 3-0. Bases loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of the first. This one catches the outside corner from Milto for a strike, brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. Lugbauer, the .285 average. He's hitting .500 on the season with bases loaded. 3-1 pitch to him here. Misses low in the dirt, so Lugbauer takes his base and picks up an RBI as Bivens comes home to score, and Michigan now leads 1-0 here in the bottom of the first inning on an RBI walk from Drew Lugbauer.
Yeah, and that pitch was supposed to be high and outside, and we saw the exact opposite taking a look at the replay. That one missed low and inside. Just Milto really struggling with his spots right now, and I'd expect as soon as Indiana's got a guy ready in the bullpen, he's going to enter this game because Milto's just off today. There are some days where your starter, you just don't have that stuff, and it looks like BJ Sabal is going to be coming in at some point in this inning because Milto just struggling to get anything over the plate right now, even stuff to hit.
And Miles Lewis now steps up to the plate for the Wolverines, still looking to record their first hit of the ball game. He takes a strike on the low outside corner for strike number 1. Wolverines starting off this game with a hit by pitch, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a walk, and lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Lewis, the switch hitting left fielder for the Wolverines, stands in that left-handed batter's box, and the second pitch he sees here comes across at the belt on what looked to be a changeup from Milto for strike 2. 0-2 the count now on Lewis.
And that pitch, I thought missed high, didn't have enough break on it, but you're going to get some merciful calls from David Condon when you've worked yourself in this much trouble.
Milto taking a little extra time to make sure he gets the signs right from the catcher Feynman. Now comes set and fires. This one misses just off the plate away, maybe a bit high there. on Lewis, and that'll bring the count to 1-2 strikes. Milto working a considerably slower pace now with the bases loaded, taking his time, making sure he gets the correct sign from the catcher Feynman and executes the pitch effectively. The 1-2 here to Lewis, bounces in the dirt, gets past Feynman. That's going to lead to another run as Slater comes down to score. Bernard moves to third, Lugbauer up to second, and the score now stands at 2-0 in favor of the Wolverines.
Great start for the Wolverine offense, as you said. Have yet to put a ball in play, but they haven't needed to. Just patience at the plate is something we've grown accustomed to seeing all year. We haven't seen it in the first two games with the Wolverines. A much better approach today, and that certainly has to be a credit to Eric Bakich and the rest of his coaching staff. The Wolverines much better vision shown, and you'd expect that. They don't start any freshmen, so no reason to have guys swinging at pitches they shouldn't be, and they haven't so far.
2-2 pitch on a slapped foul by Lewis on the right field line, and off that protective barrier by the Indiana bullpen. The count's going to remain at 2-2. Lewis now no longer batting with the base loaded, but still has a couple runners in scoring position in the form of Michael Berdar and Drew Lugbauer. So far on the year, Miles Lewis sits at 22 RBIs. Chance to pad that total here if he can find a hole. Another 2-2 pitch. Misses off the plate away for ball 3, and the count has run full on the Wolverine left fielder. Lewis takes his time, stares at the bat for a second before stepping in, taps both sides of the plate, and gets in there for the payoff pitch from Milto. This one's hit high in the air to the left side, and that one's going to get out of play behind the stands here and bounce off of Yost Ice Arena. Count's going to remain 3-2 as Lewis working a very nice at-bat here against Milto, who's really struggled to find his command early on.
And a couple pitches ago, we saw Lewis showing such great discipline to lay off a pitch he really wanted to hit. If I'm Milto, I'm going with a high fastball. Try to get Lewis to chase one.
And the 3-2 pitch. Way out in front of that one was Lewis, and he fouls that one off the Indiana dugout.
Great at-bat right now by Lewis. Just staying alive, waiting for a pitch to hit. And Milto right now just doing his best to beat him. But at some point, I think he's going to have to go out of the zone and try to get Lewis to chase, because Lewis too good at making contact on anything remotely hittable.
So the count still full here on Lewis. The 9th pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Milto. It's tapped towards first base. Gorski's going to field it on a hop. Range over to first to make the play himself, but not before a run scores. Michael Berdar comes home to score from third. Lugbauer moves over to second, or moves over to third rather. And Michigan now leads by a score of 3-0 here in the bottom of the first.
Great at-bat there by Miles Lewis, waiting for a pitch to put in play, knowing his only job was to keep something in between the foul lines, and that would be enough with the infield playing back to play to run. And when you put up a crooked number in the first, you have to be happy. I'm sure Lewis wishes he could have found his way on base safely, but you'll take it out in exchange for the third run of the first.
So 1 out now here in the bottom of the first. A runner still on third here in the form of Drew Lugbauer for the designated hitter Nick Poirier. First pitch Poirier sees catches the outside corner at the knees for a strike, 0-1. Poirier batting .316 on the year as the Wolverine designated hitter. Stands out left-handed batter's box, waves that bat over his left shoulder. The 0-1 pitch from Milto misses off the plate away. Didn't miss by much, but going to home plate umpire David Condon, it was outside. That evens the count up at 1-1 strike.
I will say I love the aggressiveness by Chris Lemonis, keeping the infield in. You wouldn't know they've already won this series because they're playing like it's do or die, not looking to concede a run.
1-1 pitch to Poirier. Line in towards left field. Going towards the line is Didolo. Will it get down? It does. It's fair. Poirier on his way to second. As Lugbauer comes in to score, the slide by Poirier out at second. So it's going to go down as the Wolverines' first hit of the ball game. It'll go down as an RBI single for Poirier. Out trying to advance to second, but he does bring home that run in Drew Lugbauer, and Wolverines now lead by a score of 4-0 here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, if the Wolverines hadn't already played at 4, I'd be criticizing the aggressiveness going for second. Didolo has been remarkable in left field, both making a few great snags. That was an absolute rocket that beat Poirier by a mile. But he did his job plating another run, and I think the Wolverines will be happy with 4 in the first.
The Wolverines with their first lead of the weekend, scoring 4 times in the bottom of the first inning. On just 1 hit, Jonathan Engelman steps up to the plate now and takes the first pitch, a strike at the knees. Count now 0-1 on the Wolverine right fielder. Engelman, previously in a bit of a slump coming into the weekend, hit a few balls hard back on Friday. And went 3 for 4 yesterday, including a big double. As this one is tapped towards second, the second baseman Butler makes the play on a couple hops, throws to first to record the out. So the Wolverines, despite only having 1 hit in the inning, plate 4 after 1 here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leads by a score of 4-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports Broadcast of Michigan Baseball, the official student radio broadcast for Michigan Baseball. What happened?
He missed. He missed off the side of the goddamn net.
Good start here, though.
Yeah.
Only 1 hit in the inning, and he got thrown out. Oh.
You can just say you're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball and go
yeah.
out. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Just might be easier for you than to say you're listening to Michigan baseball on WCBN Sports, the official home of Michigan baseball.
Yeah, that's better.
And don't put student in. We'll take the lawsuit if we get it. Because they don't do the midweek games. We do.
Yeah, we are.
Because we're the official home. In May, I'm going to go to Central and stuff when we play those midweek games.
I like it.
I've always wanted to visit Mount Pleasant, so.
I might try to make the trip down to Purdue. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's a shorter drive, so that's a possibility. I think I'm planning on staying for next weekend. Not next weekend, the weekend after that. For the you said the 6th and 7th, right?
Yeah, that would be huge.
I think I'm going to try to do that.
That would be huge. Because I'm working for BT on the 5th, and I have the wedding.
Oh, for the 5th, too? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back to WCBN Sports Broadcast of Michigan Baseball. Here to begin the top of the second inning with Michigan leading by a score of 4-0. Michael Hendrickson takes his spot back on the mound. He'll face Matt Lloyd, Matt Gorski, and the catcher Ryan Feynman to begin things here in the second. Wolverine left-hander gets his sign, winds up in the first pitch here to Matt Lloyd. Catches the inside corner for a strike, 0-1. After Ryan Feynman is the shortstop Jeremy Houston and the center fielder Laren Eustace to round out the order for Indiana.
The first time we've seen Indiana playing from behind. We'll see how explosive the bats can be now that they really need them.
The second pitch to Matt Lloyd misses just off the plate away. Didn't miss by much, but the count now 1-1 on the designated hitter for Indiana. This one is hit high in the air towards right field. The right fielder Engelman ranging back near the gap. Slater also over. Slater calls him off and makes the grab on the warning track for out number 1. So a long, loud out there recorded at the hands of Matt Lloyd.
Great communication there between Slater and Engelman. We saw Slater misplay one yesterday that went off the heel of his glove out in center field. Good to see the confidence back for him and just showing you how much range he can cover. That was the right center field power alley, and he tracked it down with relative ease.
Now the first baseman Matt Gorski stepping up to the plate. The big first baseman Matt Gorski swings the first pitch he sees, fouls it off towards the right side. Bivens ranging over, not going to have room though, as that one bounces off the little pavilion here between the Indiana dugout and the Indiana bullpen off the first base side. Bring the count to 0-1. Gorski stands up there at 6'4", 195, the freshman from Fishers, Indiana. Intimidating presence in that right-handed batter's box as he swings and grounds one over to second. Jimmy Kerr makes the play and fires over to first base in time to record out number 2 here in the top of the second.
Yeah, nice confident start defensively for Kerr, who struggled a bit replacing a K.O. Thomas in the middle infield yesterday. Double clutch there, but still remained calm, cool, and collected and got the easy out at first base. Good start defensively for the Wolverines here in the second.
Kerr had plenty of time on that one. It was a hard struck ball there by Matt Gorski, but a lot easier to manage those when they're on the ground. First pitch here, the catcher Ryan Fireman is a breaking ball that breaks in there for a strike, 0-1. Henderson featuring that off-speed pitch early on in some of these counts, catching the Wolverine hitters off balance. The 0-1 pitch here, fastball tapped foul down the left field line and bounces over the protective wall in front of the Michigan bullpen. Going to bring the count to 0-2 on the big righty. Henderson gets his sign here and winds up for the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Bit of a foul tip there by Feynman, but into the glove of Wenson for strike 3. Henderson's first strikeout of the day ends things here in the top of the second after 1.5. The score, Michigan 4, Indiana 0. You're listening to WCBN Sports, the official radio broadcast for Michigan baseball. How much time is extra time?
20 plus extra, plus added time.
Gotcha. Pull the goalie. We had teams do that in high school, like
if we get a free kick late, they'll send the goalie up. They won't pull him, but they'll send him up to play an extra attacker. And it's worked. They're tall.
Yeah. Ooh, only 1 minute.
Oh, God. So it's over. No silverware. He's going to feel the heat now, Pep.
All right, ready? And welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium. You're listening to WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan baseball. Michigan leads here heading into the bottom half of the second inning by a score of 4-0. It will be the starting pitcher, Paulie Milto, remaining out there for Indiana. He will face Jimmy Kerr, Harrison Wenson, then back up to the top of the order in the form of Jake Bibbins to lead things off here in the second for the Wolverines. So Jimmy Kerr, the second baseman on the day, replacing the injured Akeo Thomas. Looked pretty solid yesterday in his limited action. Went 1 for 2 with a couple RBIs, including a sacrifice fly in there. The left-hander steps to the plate and gets his first look today at Milto. First pitch bounces in the dirt for ball number 1, and Milto's command struggles continuing here in the very first pitch of the second inning. Milto working out of the stretch, comes set and fires one that misses low and in now. Count 2-0 on the Wolverines second baseman. Kerr batting .234 on the year after his double in yesterday's ball game. Brought home his 6th and 7th RBIs of the year in limited action. 2-0 pitch he sees here is in there for a strike. Thought about swinging, but decided not to. Count 2-1 now. Milto coming set, and the 2-1 pitch. This one hit high in the air towards left field, or right field rather. Sowers takes a couple steps back, has plenty of room though in front of that warning track and the wall to record out number 1 here in the bottom of the second inning.
Kerr's got really good pop off the bat. That's something that immediately jumped out at me yesterday. Showing it again today, just getting a bit underneath that one. But certainly a different swing than we're used to from Akeo Thomas. He's going to be a guy who drives it out towards the outfield rather than beats out a lot of infield singles.
And speaking of pop off the bat, here comes the Wolverine catcher Harrison Wenson, who had a big grand slam in yesterday's ball game to make things close late. First pitch here from Milto is a fastball in there for a strike, and Wenson doesn't agree with that call. Thought it missed a little bit low there. Leaned back in that batter's box, but David Condon called it a strike regardless. 0-1 pitch now to Wenson. Bounces in the dirt for a ball. Count now 1 ball and 1 strike. Wenson's grand slam yesterday, his 6th home run of the year. Brought home RBIs number 25, 26, 27, and 28. The 1-1 pitch here from Milto. Big swing and a miss there on the breaking ball from Wenson. He's down in the count now 1-2. We've seen at various times in this season the way to attack Harrison Winston is go with those good breaking balls moving low and away from him. No exception there. We'll see if he goes back to it with 1-2 pitch. He does. That one chased at by Wenson. That one missed low, but swung it anyway, and that's out number 2 as Milton records his first strikeout of the ball game. The Wolverines will now go back to the top of the order with the first baseman Jake Bivens stepping up here for his second look at Milto in the 2nd inning. Bivens led off the game with a hit by pitch, the 16th time this year that he's been plunked. Leads the team by a wide margin. First pitch here from Milto catches the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. The next closest Wolverine, 6 hit by pitches, Harrison Wenson. Of course, Bivens sitting with 10 more than that. The 0-1 Bivens sees here, misses off the plate this time. Milto trying to attack that outside corner, but can't quite bring it back on that one. Brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed first baseman. 1-1 pitch now. Thought about swinging, but decided not to, did Bivens, and he thought for the better. So that one missed low and brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Milto stares in now, gets his sign, and comes set. The 2-1 pitch. Swung at towards short. The shortstop, Houston, playing in the outfield grass, makes the grab on the liner for out number 3. So quiet inning here in the second for the Wolverines after scoring 4 in the first. After 2 innings here at Ray Fisher Stadium, the Wolverines still lead by a score of 4-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports, the official radio broadcast for Michigan baseball. I'm cool with that inning, just that the rest of the day. 1, 2, 3 innings the rest of the day.
Not going to find any argument here.
All right, Steve, trying to do ready. Get set and go.
What the? He's staying way too close. Let's go. Back it up. Look at these kids. They're like standing far apart from each other, tossing it and whatnot. These kids are standing like 2 feet. They're just basically setting it over the person next to them.
I mean, how's that even a contest?
It's like a relay.
Oh.
It's human ring toss. It's like a relay. You gotta. That said, they were also really slow. So. All right. Welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leads 4-0 here over the Indiana Hoosiers. Entering the top of the 3rd inning. Starter Michael Hendrickson for the Wolverines strong through 2. The only base runner to reach for the Indiana Hoosiers was on an error by first baseman Jake Bivens back in the first. Here in the 3rd, it'll be the shortstop Jeremy Houston, center fielder Laren Eustace, and then back up to the top of the order for the Hoosiers, former Tony Butler. First pitch here to Houston is lined out towards right field. It's going to drop in front of Engelman for a base hit, so Indiana has the leadoff runner on, looking to get back in this ball game in the 3rd inning. That will bring up the speedy center fielder Laren Eustace. Eustace did something I don't think I've ever seen before yesterday. Reached base 5 times against 5 different pitchers. 4 for 4, a couple doubles, and a walk. Really representative of just how on fire that Indiana offense was yesterday. First pitch he sees here from Henderson, clips him on the shoulder. And just like that, Indiana now has 2 runners on with nobody out in the third.
Yeah, Michigan just desperate to get some decent pitching, on the weekend. Just a guy who goes a couple innings without working himself into trouble. But here in the third, Hendrickson starting to create some of that mess on his own.
So after 2 pitches, Indiana has their second and third base runners on the day. This time with nobody out, though, and cycling back up to the top of the order, the second baseman Tony Butler striding to the plate. Butler had the decisive blow back on Friday, solo home run to start the game. As he bunts this one towards third, led by our charges, makes the play, throws to first in time. So that will go down as a sacrifice bunt from the second baseman Butler as both runners move up into scoring position. With only 1 away, that will bring up the left fielder Craig Dietelo. So 3 pitches here, all 3 of them have resulted in some action. First pitch of the inning was lined for a single by Houston. The second pitch clipped Laren Eustace, and the third pitch used to move both of them over. We'll see if Dietelo is also looking to do something here with the first pitch he sees from Hendrickson here in the third. This first pitch here swung at and tapped foul into the seats right in front of us here. That's going to go down as a strike here. 0-1 the count now on the big left fielder for Indiana. Hendrickson has the advantage of a lefty-lefty matchup here against Dietelo. This one is tapped foul back to the screen, almost the same trajectory. And it will be the exact same result. A strike on Dietelo puts him down in the count 0-2 against the Wolverine left-hander. Michael Bernard will approach Hendrickson on the mound as Wenson goes out to join him, possibly see something in the swing of Dietelo they want to exploit here. Those first couple of swings from Dietelo, he is right on those pitches from Hendrickson, follow them straight back. As Bernard now trots back to his spot, and Wenson finishes up speaking to his pitcher Hendrickson before jogging back behind the plate. See what they have dialed up here for the 0-2 pitch. Dietelo back in the first, grounded out to first. As Hendrickson stares in now for the sign from Wenson, taking his time. Now steps off, is going to try to do it again. Dietelo now batting .253 on the season. Has a lot of pop, tied for the team lead in home runs with 9. The 0-2 pitch here, fastball misses high. Wenson able to knock it down with a bit of trouble. He reached up, it bounced out of his glove, but was able to keep it in front of him. That will warrant a visit to the mound from pitching coach Sean Kenny. Count stands at 1-2 now on Dietelo. Dietelo somewhat strikeout prone. 36 of them on the season. Second on the Indiana Hoosier squad. Only walked 11 times. So you have to think here for Hendrickson, something out of the zone might be in order. They tried to go high with the fastball on that last pitch. Breaking ball down in the dirt would be the perfect example of trying to change a hitter's eye level and get him to chase. As the meeting on the mound commences between Hendrickson, Wenson, and all of his infielders, along with pitching coach Sean Kenny.
And this is a tough spot for Hendrickson, too, because he loves to be a fly ball pitcher, but a fly ball here might play to run.
The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, called strike 3 as it catches the inside corner on Dietelo. And there are now 2 outs here in the inning.
That was a really, really good pitch. A ton of movement. That thing started at the shoulders, and Dietelo was leaning in looking to wear that pitch, and all of a sudden it breaks over the heart of the plate. Probably the best movement we've seen on a pitch from Hendrickson so far in this game, and perhaps all season. I mean, that thing had a real curve to it.
Not the time to let up now, though, as the third baseman Luke Miller now steps to the plate for the Hoosiers. The sophomore third baseman for the Hoosiers batting .290 on the season after he reached on an error in the first. Has himself 7 home runs to go along with 8 doubles, so the extra base power is present here. Henderson takes a little extra time here. Swenson goes through the sign, steps off once, now gets the sign this time around. The first pitch here to Miller. Big breaking ball, swing and a miss from Miller. Maybe got a piece of that one as it tipped into the glove of Wenson. With the count now 0-1. And another great breaking ball out of Hendrickson there. Started around the middle of the plate, dropped down near Miller's shoes. Didn't have a shot at making contact with that one. The 0-1 pitch. This time a fastball misses outside. Swenson slides over to make that grab. Count 1-1 now. Henderson, again, going to those off-speed pitches early. He's at his best when he can command those off-speed pitches and use them to keep hitters off balance early on in the count. The 1-1 pitch here to Miller. It's a fastball lying towards right field. This one's going to get down and get into the corner. 2 runs are going to come around to score as Engelman fields and throws in. Miller will stride into second with a 2 RBI double, and Indiana cuts the Michigan lead in half. The score now 4-2 in favor of the Wolverines.
Yeah, Hendrickson just left one up in that zone. It didn't dip enough, and give Luke Miller a ton of credit, ripping that down the right field line to plate too. And we knew Indiana's offense wasn't going to go away quietly. I think Michigan just hoped Hendrickson, once he got to those 2 outs, it really felt like things were going his way. But Indiana, a team comfortable rallying with 2 outs against them.
And those 2 through 4 hitters on Indiana, full of power, just great hitter after great hitter. And that will bring up the right fielder Logan Sowers, who hit a 2-run homer in yesterday's ballgame. First pitch he sees here from Henderson misses outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. Back in the first inning, Logan Sowers grounded into an inning-ending fielder's choice to the shortstop Michael Berdar. 1-0 pitch now from Hendrickson. A breaking ball in there for a strike, and Henderson really feeling that breaking ball right now. Going to it no matter what count it is and commanding it with ease. 2 outs here in the second. Miller stands on second. The 1-1 pitch from Hendrickson. Fastball up the middle, ranging over, cannot make the play is Kerr. Gets into center field, Slater's up with it, makes the throw, but it will not go home as Miller comes around to score. And just like that, Indiana has plated 3 runs in the last 2 batters to shorten the Michigan lead all the way up to 4-3. That will bring up the best hitter now in the Indiana lineup in the form of designated hitter Matt Lloyd. Lloyd batting .336 on the season. Gets on base at a .437 clip and has 17 extra base hits to his name.
And we've discussed Michigan's failures to really have a complete game this weekend. Seeing evidence of that once again here. Just when the bats look really good in the first, now Hendrickson struggling on the mound.
First pitch here to Lloyd, a fastball down the heart of the plate. Dangerous pitch there, but gets away with it as Lloyd takes it for strike 1.
And this has been a growing trend for Hendrickson. He dropped the 3rd game to Illinois in that Big Ten series. Against conference opponents, he has just not looked that sharp on these Sunday starts.
The 0-1 pitch misses off the plate away now and evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. And interestingly enough, Matt Lloyd, also the closer for the Indiana Hoosiers, got the save in yesterday's ball game. The 1-1 pitch he sees here from Henderson. Big breaking ball there. Swing and a miss from Lloyd for strike 2. Once again, that breaking ball paying dividends for Michael Hendrickson on the mound. This has been his best pitch so far today. Got some awkward swings and misses, including getting Didolo looking earlier on in this inning. Now ahead in the count 1-2 against Lloyd. The pitch. Fastball. Swing and a miss on the outside corner. It looked more like a slider there. But Indiana is able to push across 3 runs with 2 outs in the inning and makes things a little tighter here for the Wolverines after 2.5 at Ray Fisher Stadium to score. Michigan 4, Indiana 3. You're listening to the official radio broadcast of Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports. So we're ready to begin action here in the bottom of the third inning at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leading Indiana by a score of 4-3. Paulie Milto will resume work on the mound for the Hoosiers. He's entering his third inning of work after a rough inning in the first, went 1-2-3 in the second. He'll have to face the heart of the Wolverine order. 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Johnny Slater, Michael Berdar, and Drew Lugbauer here in the bottom of the third. Slater steps in there and getting his second look at Paulie Milto. First pitch here. Misses low for a ball, so Slater yet to see a strike from Milto. Walked on 4 pitches back in the first. Had in the count here 1-0 in the third. As Milto comes set in the 1-0 pitch. Big swing there by Slater and bounced right near our booth here into the seats. Again, a couple foul balls finding us up here. As the count goes to 1-1 on the Wolverines center fielder. Slater stands out left-handed batter's box. Waits the 1-1 from Milto. Thinks about swinging, but does not. It's a called strike anyway. Brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Milto looking much more comfortable now than he did in the first when Wolverines plated 4 runs on only 1 hit. 1-2 pitch misses in the dirt low for a ball, 2-2. One good thing about Milto so far is when he's been missing low. The Wolverine hitters really haven't been able to take advantage of his command issues so far today. A 2-2 pitch. This one hit high in the air towards the left side. The third baseman Miller ranging over, and will he have room? He will, just in front of the Wolverine bullpen on that side wall. Makes the grab for out number 1. A nice play there by Miller to track that ball all the way and record the out. That'll bring up the shortstop, Michael Berdar now. Berdar back in the first was hit by a pitch after putting together a lengthy at-bat against Milto. 7-pitch at-bat to be exact. This time he stands in there with nobody on and 1 out here in the third. First pitch bounces in the dirt, low and away for a ball, 1-0. After that hit by a pitch, raises his on-base percentage up to .388. Also has that .321 average. The 1-0 pitch here. Called strike on the inside corner. Berdar thought about swinging for a second, but decided it wasn't quite the pitch he wanted to hit. You count 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. Berdar now crouching in that right-handed batter's box. The 1-1 pitch from Milto squares around a bunt, but pulls back as that one bounces in the dirt. Brings the count to 2-1.
And give Milto a ton of credit. After that rough first inning, he's looked a lot more confident and, more importantly, comfortable on the mound, eating up a few innings when it looked like he might be pulled in the first.
So Milto now, the 2-1 pitch up coming to Berdar. Swung at and bounced towards third. The third baseman Miller makes the stop, throws over to first for out number 2. So busy man this inning is Miller. And there are now 2 outs in the inning for Drew Lugbauer.
Yeah, Miller had to be perfect on that play, fielded off the perfect hop for him, and made the throw just in time to beat out Michael Berdar. And it just continues a string of really solid defense for the Hoosiers out there in the field.
Hoosiers have been impressive defensively all weekend long. And now Drew Lugbauer stepping to the plate for his second look at Milto on the day. First pitch he sees here is fouled down the right field line and off the protective wall near the Indiana bullpen. Brings the count to 0 balls and 1 strike on the big Wolverine third baseman. Lugbauer responsible for the very first RBI of the game back in the first. Drew a walk with the bases loaded to bring home Jake Bivens. This time the base is empty though, with 2 outs in the inning, and down in the count 0-1 is Lugbauer. Second pitch, the at-bat misses low for a ball, evens the count up at 1-1. Lugbauer, that RBI earlier, his 49th of the season. easily leads the Wolverines squad. It's the 1-1 pitch now from Milto. Swung at and grounded towards second. Ranging over near the line is Butler. He makes the play, tosses over to first for out number 3. So another 1-2-3 inning here put together by Milto. He's keeping Indiana in the game as the score after 3 here at Ray Fisher Stadium is Michigan 4, Indiana 3. You're listening to WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan Baseball, the official radio broadcast for the team.
You can just keep calling.
Not feeling it.
I don't need to.
What?
Reading about France's election, so I'm kind of busy.
Here we go. And welcome back here to Ray Fisher Stadium for the 4th inning of action between Michigan and Indiana. The 3rd game of a 3-game set. Indiana looking to sweep Michigan. Michigan looking to avoid their first 3-game losing streak of the season. Here in the 4th inning will be Michael Hendrickson resuming his duties on the mound. He'll face the first baseman, Matt Gorski, the catcher, Ryan Feynman, and the shortstop, Jeremy Houston, to lead things off for the Hoosiers. Gorski back in the 2nd inning, grounded out to second. The new second baseman, Jimmy Kerr, who we've seen getting some action over the last couple days, making his 11th start of the season today in lieu of Akeo Thomas's absence. First pitch from Hendrickson to Gorski here, bunted, but well foul and bounces into the Indiana bullpen. Brings the count to 0-1. We've seen Gorski a lot this weekend. Square around on that first pitch of the at-bat. Deceptively quick for a first baseman. He's got that tall frame. Stands up there at 6'4". This time he lines one towards center. Slater running in, not going to have a play on it. He has to play it on a hop. So a leadoff single here in the 4th for Matt Gorski and Indiana in business as they look to even things up. And we'll send up the catcher Ryan Feynman to the plate. Feynman, so far on the day, 0 for 1 with the strikeout against Hendrickson. He was the first of 3 strikeout victims so far on the day. Stands in on that right-handed batter's box with the bat rested on his right shoulder. Now squares around to bunt, but pulls back and lines one foul down the right field line and out of play into the parking lot. Count now, no balls and 1 strike. So Indiana looking to potentially play small ball here. We'll see if Feynman decides to actually square around with this next pitch. Henderson comes with the 0-1 pitch, misses outside for a ball. Evens the count up at 1-1. As the throw back to Henderson gets away towards Michael Berdar, but not in any area where Gorski would be able to advance to second. Gorski, a threat to steal over there. 8 for 10 on the season in stolen bases. He takes a moderate lead up at first with the lefty Henderson on the mound. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball, line fouled on the left field line and out of play, but a really well struck ball there by Feynman. It's just a long, loud strike though, and puts him down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hendrickson looking to strike out Feynman for the 2nd time in the ball game. Feynman looking to avoid strikeout number 25 on the year. Pickoff throw over to first, chases Gorski back. Gorski plenty of time though as he comes in standing. And now a bit more of an aggressive lead by Gorski at first. 1-2 pitch from Henderson, not going as Gorski just fouled off the end of the bat and off to the right side out of play. Just missed a couple kids running off to the kids' play area here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Everyone is all right, though, and the count remains 1-2 on the Indiana catcher.
Yet again, though, we see, the leadoff man aboard for the Hoosiers and Hendrickson having to pitch against a batter knowing there's guys on base, which he really struggled with last inning, and I think that's...
This one grounded towards short. Berdar shovels to Kerr for one. Over to first. In time, a double play.
Well, never mind. Never mind, then.
If there's anything about this game, it's just when you think you have it figured out, it goes the exact opposite direction. As Henderson able to get that 6-4-3 double play, and there are now 2 outs with nobody on in the top of the 4th for the shortstop, Jeremy Houston. Houston led off the 3rd inning with a single, came around to score his 10th run scored of the season in limited action for the Hoosiers. Houston, just a freshman, looks particularly impressive this weekend on the defensive end, showing off a lot of range. He takes the first pitch low for a ball, constantly ranging over the middle, making some strong throws, robbing the Wolverines of a few hits. This breaking ball on 1-0 is in there for a strike. Hendricks is starting him off with a couple off-speed pitches, trying to potentially take advantage of the inexperience of the freshman, Jeremy Houston. This 1-1 pitch is bounced towards third. Ledbauer makes the play on a couple hops, fires a strong throw to first to record out number 3. So able to get out of the inning is Michael Hendrickson without giving up a run despite the leadoff single. After 3.5 here at Ray Fisher Stadium, the score remains Michigan 4, Indiana 3. You're listening to the official radio broadcast for Michigan Baseball here on WCBN Sports.
We're clear.
Just near a sea of BTN action.
Showed up.
Doesn't look like they sent anyone.
No? That's so weird.
I hate that. That seems to be the direction we're going.
I really don't like that at all.
No.
You can hear it when they're talking too. They're not there.
Yeah.
All right. It's not wrong.
Hard to argue with that.
Leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for the
So here we go in the bottom of the 4th inning here at Ray Fisher Stadium. WCBN's broadcast of Michigan Baseball as they take on Indiana and look to avoid a 3-game sweep. Leading off here in the 4th, Michigan leading 4-3, is the left fielder for the Wolverines, Miles Lewis. Following him will be the DH, Nick Boye, and the right fielder, Jonathan Engelman, as Lewis lines one towards second on a hop to field it. Is the second baseman Butler, who throws over to first to make the play. So a hard struck ball, but a first pitch out made there by Lewis. And with one gone here in the bottom of the 4th, Nick Poirier will stride to the plate. And once again, Indiana's defense proving solid, especially up the middle. Tony Butler, the second baseman, and the shortstop Jeremy Houston, particularly impressive in this series, as well as a series of diving catches made by the outfielders Craig Didolo and Laren Eustace in left and center respectively. First pitch here to Nick Poirier, misses low end away for a ball. Count 1-0 on the left-handed designated hitter for the Wolverines. Poirier, the only hit on the day for the Wolverines, singled back in the first to drive in a run, but was thrown out trying to advance to second. The second pitch to that bat here catches the inside corner at the knees, according to home plate umpire David Condon. Evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Milto settling in now, the 1-1 pitch. This one misses low on the breaking ball. Poirier thought about swinging but held up, and the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Milto, after that rough first inning, has had 2 straight 1-2-3 innings in the second and third innings, respectively. As the third pitch here to Poirier misses outside for a ball, 3-1. And coming into this at bat with Poirier, Milto retired 8 straight batters. In danger of losing Poirier here down on the count 3-1. The pitch line towards left center. This one is going to drop. No, it is not going to drop. Or indeed it is dropped. My bad. It did indeed drop in front of left fielder Craig Didolo.
No, it didn't.
It definitely did not. Sorry, we had an obstructed view here for a second.
Yeah, it looked off the bat like he fielded it cleanly out of the air, and then taking a look at the replay, Nick Poirier didn't seem to realize that either, because he immediately sprinted back to first. But yeah, just a fly out.
So just a line out here on the 10th straight batter recorded by Paulie Milto in the bottom of the 4th inning. I will bring up the right fielder for the Wolverines, Jonathan Engelman. Engelman 0 for 1 on the day with a ground out to second back in the 1st inning. First pitch here is a fastball that catches the bottom part of the strike zone and brings the count to 0-1. Engelman, with that strong day at the plate yesterday, able to get that average back up to the 300 mark. It sits at an even 300 right now coming into this at-bat. Second pitch here is just tipped off the end of the bat from Engelman and bounces behind the plate. First strike 2. Engelman upset with himself at that one. He got a good pitch to hit, but was barely able to make some contact. So he takes his time, as he always does, stepping out of that batter's box, staring at that bat and taking a deep breath before putting his toes just about at the chalk near home plate, and gets ready for the 0-2 pitch from Milto. It misses high for a ball on the fastball. Count now 1-2. Milto perhaps trying to change the eye level of Jonathan Engelman. See what he goes here with the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball down in the dirt. So textbook execution there by Milto. Sets Engelman down on strikes. And that is now 10 in a row retired by Milto. After 4 innings here at Ray Fisher Stadium, the score still stands at Michigan 4, Indiana 3. You're listening to the official radio broadcast of Michigan Baseball on WCBN Sports.
All right, dancers, here's our first song, Hang Up Style.
Wonder, does the Michigan Baseball have access to the replays here for regular BTN?
They do that when we're on too.
I'm saying, do they? I know they have it for you guys. Do they have it for the? I didn't even see.
Yeah. I don't know if they showed it because it was just a lazy fly ball.
Well, not that one, but like.
Yeah, they've thrown it up a few times today.
Didn't even notice it.
All right, fans, if you think that was a better dancer, make some noise. If you think Blake was a better dancer, get loud. Let's go to the time. Congratulations to both cats. And Blake, you are the winners of the Mississippi Baseball Marathon.
What do we got? All right, ready to go. And welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium as we're ready to begin the 5th inning of action here between Michigan and Indiana. Michigan looking to stave off the sweep at the hands of the Hoosiers, leading 4-3 here through 4. It'll be the starting pitcher Michael Henderson out for his 5th inning of work. He will face the center fielder Laren Eustace, the 9-hitter, before cycling back up to the top of the Indiana order for the 3rd time today, with second baseman Tony Butler and left fielder Craig Dedelo on deck and in the hole, respectively. We've got a brief moment here between innings. Looks like the third base coach for the Hoosiers, Kyle Cheeseborough, is talking with the third base umpire, Gary Roswolowski. Now set to begin action here. First pitch from Hendrickson to Eustace, bunted at, but bunted foul behind the plate. Gonna bring the count to 0-1. Eustace, back in the third, was hit by the very first pitch he saw from Hendrickson. Ended up coming around to score his 13th run of the season. The 0-1 pitch here, a breaking ball misses low end away. Eustace does not chase. And that evens the count up at 1-1 strike. Mentioned Eustace with an impressive day yesterday out of the 9 holes, batted the 9 spot all weekend long. This breaking ball here on 1-1 is in there for a strike. Count now 1-2. Eustace led off a couple times last weekend, in which Indiana won that series, and a swing and a miss here from Eustace. Had a great breaking ball from Hendrickson, moving low and away out of the zone. That's out number 1. That is Hendrickson's 4th strike, or rather, yeah, it's his 4th strikeout of the ball game. 1 out in the top of the 5th inning, and back to the top of the Indiana order with Tony Butler striding to the plate. Butler so far 0 for 1 on the day. Did have a sacrifice bunt back in the 3rd, in addition to a fly out to lead off the ball game. First pitch here misses high from Hendrickson for a ball. 1-0 the count. Hendrickson not working quite as quickly as he was when he was in a rhythm back around the 2nd inning. This one lined towards short. Diving stab by Berdard, not able to make the play as that one gets into center for a base hit. So Butler is on with a leadoff single here, or rather a 1-out single here in the 5th inning. That will bring up Craig Dedelo, the dangerous left fielder.
Yeah, just continues the trend of guys reaching base in each inning for the Hoosiers.
Dedelo, the left-handed hitting left fielder, so far 0 for 2 on the day against the left-hander Michael Hendrickson. Harrison wants an out to the mound to discuss exactly how they want to attack Craig Dedelo here. Last time up to bat, Dedelo set down looking on strikes against Hendrickson. One of those great breaking balls he's thrown today. It has been his best pitch on the ball game today, consistently missing bats and fooling Indiana hitters, throwing it in a variety of counts, whether it's behind in the count, ahead in the count, or as we saw in that last at-bat, or a couple at-bats ago rather, with Laren Eustace up 1-1. The first pitch here is that breaking ball fouled on the left field line off the wall in front of the Indiana bullpen. Brings the count to 0-1 on Dedelo. Butler over on first. 4 for 6 on the year in stolen bases. Not taking a very aggressive lead with the lefty Henderson on the mound. This one bounced over towards first on a changeup, it looked like, but foul and off near the Indiana bullpen. Brings the count to 0-2 on the slider for the Hoosiers. Dedelo now steps in there. That left-handed batter's box waves that bat in front of him rather than above the shoulder. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a good changeup there from Henderson. Looks like a good straight changeup. Had Dedelo way out in front of that one and sets down Craig Dedelo for the 2nd time today on strikes. And there are now 2 outs in the inning bringing up the third baseman, Luke Miller. And it was Miller back in the third inning for the Hoosiers that got the scoring started. Had a big 2 RBI double into that right field corner. 1 for 2 on the ball game. He stands in there in that right-handed batter's box. The back foot of his up against the chalk near the catcher, Winston, and also in that corner near home plate. The first pitch he sees lined towards center. Slater takes a second to judge it and then runs in to make the grab for out number 3. So a 1-out single from Indiana does not come around to score after 4.5. We're halfway home here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leads Indiana by a score of 4-3. You're listening to WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan Baseball, the official radio broadcast for the team. Where's Dennis Norfleet when you need him?
I'm all in on this Rome trip.
Sounds like it's going well.
One of the Ohio State beat writers is, I'm not jealous of the Michigan beat writers getting to go to Rome. I once got to cover the Ohio State spring game in Cincinnati.
Got that Skyline chili. Doesn't match up to the my partner checked the exact same thing. Where's Norfleet? Jimmy Kerr, leadoff homer here. Welcome back to WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan Baseball. Michigan leading Indiana by a score of 4-3, entering the bottom of the 5th inning. For Michigan, it will be the second baseman Jimmy Kerr, followed by catcher Harrison Winston, then back up to the top of the lineup with Jake Bivens scheduled to start things here in the 5th inning against Indiana starter Paulie Milto, who, after a rough first inning, giving up 4 runs on only 1 hit, has really settled in nicely, retired the last 10 batters he's faced ahead of this matchup with Jimmy Kerr. So Kerr standing in that left-handed batter's box, replacing the injured Akeo Thomas. So far 0 for 1 on the day. The long fly ball, fly out to right field in his first at-bat in the second. First pitch he sees here misses outside for a ball, 1-0. Kerr's average now sitting at .229 on the season. The second pitch here in there for a strike. Evens the things up at 1-1. And so far in very limited action this year, Kerr batting .333 when he leads off an inning. Wolverines hoping he's able to get on here, tack on some insurance runs, headed into the 6th. The 1-1 pitch catches the outside corner at the knees, draws the ire of some of the Wolverine faithful. Home plate umpire David Condon says it did catch the corner, brings the count to 1-2.
Yeah, that one did look to miss well below the knees on the replay.
The 1-2 pitch to Kerr, swung on and hit towards third, ground ball fielded by Miller. Throw was a big, strong throw to first base to record the out. Nice, strong, accurate arm out of Miller there to record the first out of the inning.
And that's perhaps where Michigan misses Akeo Thomas more than anyone else. Kerr, no slouch himself in terms of his base running abilities, but Thomas, I think, makes plays a lot more interesting when he's able to keep them even in the infield. But Kirk continues to do a good job getting contact and putting them in play. That's all you could ask a leadoff man to do, is try to give himself a chance to reach safely. He did just that. But a good play, nice strong throw by Miller. The Indiana infield continues to impress this weekend.
Someone who has yet to put the ball in play so far today is Harrison Wenson. He takes the first pitch he sees here from Milto, low for a ball, 1-0. Wenson 0 for 1 with a strikeout so far on the day against the Indiana right-hander. The 1-0 pitch here. Fastball misses low and away for a ball, 2-0. Wenson in the driver's seat here. Imagine probably looking fastball. It tends to be Wenson's go-to.
Another good crowd here this weekend, I think worth mentioning too. Bark in the Park Day. We've seen a couple of pooches here in the yard, but this team continues to get strong support, and that could pay dividends down the stretch. A couple big home series coming up in 2 weeks. Ohio State comes to town, and Michigan's going to need to remain solid at home.
The 2-0 pitch to Wenson missed inside to bring things to 3-0. Now Milto, the 3-0 pitch. Wenson looked like he was ready to swing at it, but ended up watching a fastball right down the middle. Count now 3 balls and 1 strike on the big Wolverine catcher. Wenson now waves that bat over his head, and the 3-1 pitch hit high in the air towards deep left. The left fielder, Didolo, ranging back on the track. He's going to have room, though, and makes the grab for out number 2. So Wenson almost was able to connect on his second home run in as many days. But
needed the wind he had yesterday, though.
Didn't quite have that extra support, and it just goes down as a long, loud out. There will be 2 outs now in the inning for the Wolverine leadoff hitter today, Jake Bibbins. Bibbins, so far on the day, 0 for 1. Lined out hard to the shortstop Houston in his last at-bat in the second, and led off the game with his 16th hit-by-pitch of the season. First pitch he sees here is tapped foul towards the right side and off the netting in front of the Indiana dugout. Brings the count to 0 balls and 1 strike. A rare first pitch swing from Bibbins. Doesn't normally like to take a hack at that first pitch he sees in any given at bat. As Milto gets his sign in the 0-1 pitch. Bounces well in front of the plate and through the wickets of Feynman behind the plate. Brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike on the first baseman for the Wolverines. Again, Milto, when he misses, he tends to be missing low in spots where Wolverines can't do a whole lot of damage against him. 1-1 pitch here. Hit high in the air towards right center. The center fielder Eustace, though, ranging back with plenty of room, makes the grab for out number 3. So another 1-2-3 inning put together by Milto. He's retired 13 batters in a row. And through 5 here at Ray Fisher Stadium, the score remains Michigan 4, Indiana 3. You're listening to the official radio broadcast for Michigan baseball here on WCBN Sports. Appropriate. Oh, they're playing dog songs today.
Yeah, they are.
Just put that together.
They don't even have a sideline reporter here.
Are you sure? Yeah,
Because they do those in-game interviews with the coaches, and he just
Right.
put on a headset.
Oh, maybe that's why they had to wait. They waited between innings the past couple like half innings. Like,
Well, yeah, they can control this game. Student U cannot.
yeah,
Because we don't do
the
ads.
One time you guys get yelled at for having to get the 3-quarter off the field. She was completely oblivious. It took like a full minute. Welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium. Here, ready to begin the top of the 6th inning, is Michael Hendrickson for the Wolverines. Here in the 6th, he will face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Indiana lineup. The right fielder Logan Sowers, designated hitter Matt Lloyd, and first baseman Matt Gorski. As Sowers steps to the plate here in that right-handed batter's box, ready to begin things here in the 6th. First pitch he sees from Hendrickson is big swing there and miss as that one bared down and in on him. A nice off-speed pitch again shown by Hendrickson gets him ahead in the count 0-1. Hendrickson now working with some rhythm. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses low this time for a ball. Evens things up at 1 ball and 1 strike on the Hoosier right fielder. Again, working quickly now. Hendrickson, the 1-1 pitch. Another fastball this time. Catches the zone. Puts the Wolverine left-hander up in the count 1-2.
And I think the argument could be made, this is the biggest inning of the season for Hendrickson. If he can get through the 6th, hand it off to the bullpen, Michigan has a chance to salvage a game this series.
And this one, a looping liner into center field. It's going to drop in front of the center fielder, Slater, for a base hit. So a leadoff single here in the 6th. Indiana, yet another runner on base. Henderson yet to have an inning in which he has not allowed a base runner. And with nobody out and a runner on first, the ever-dangerous Matt Lloyd stepping to the plate.
And that's a testament to Indiana's lineup. To have a guy reach every single inning shows a lot of depth more than anything else because, you know, not every guy's going to get up every single inning, but Indiana's managed to find spots in their lineup, everyone contributing throughout this weekend because Indiana, almost every inning, has had some guy on base at some point.
The first pitch to Lloyd misses low and away. A nice block there by Wenson to keep the ball in front of him. Count now 1-0. Looking at the replay, a really nice job of hitting there by Logan Sowers. After swinging and missing on that breaking ball low and in to begin the at-bat, he was able to get enough of the bat on that one that bared low and in on him and loop it into center to lead things off. 1-0 pitch to Lloyd here. Misses low on another off-speed pitch from Hendrickson. Now Lloyd firmly in control of the count, 2-0.
And I think my biggest takeaway of the weekend, even if Michigan's able to salvage one, is this is an Indiana team peaking at the right time. They won a 1-0 game with their ace going against Michigan's ace on Friday. Saturday, a bloodbath with the bats, and Indiana came out on top. And today, they've hung in a relatively
Ground ball
even game.
Sliding stop made by Bivens over at first. The relay throw from Curtis second, or back to first. In time, it was Pavard on the relay throw. Great covering there from Michael Henderson. The old 3-6-1 double play. And just like that, nobody on now in the inning with 2 outs for Matt Gorski.
And even there, we're seeing Michigan's going to have to play their A game to beat this Indiana team. We've seen Indiana's defense do it all weekend. Michigan, the past 2 days, hasn't had their best defensive performances. Today, though, a couple really tough double plays the Wolverines have been able to turn. You're not given the luxury against this potent Indiana lineup to give them extra outs. And Michigan's done a really good job limiting the at-bats for the Hoosiers today.
Really nice sliding play there made by Bivens at first. I'm having trouble with a few balls earlier on today. First pitch from Hendrickson to Gorski here is a breaking ball. It doesn't break quite enough and misses high. Count 1-0.
And out there with Kerr, you wondered how it would impact the relationship of this infield, but he's been up to the task.
This one hit high in the air towards left center field. The left fielder Lewis running in. Now camps under it and makes the grab without losing his hat. A rarity for Miles Lewis. But nonetheless, it is an out, and that ends the top of the 6th inning through 5.5 here at Ray Fisher Stadium. The score, Michigan 4, Indiana 3 on WCBN Sports, the official student radio broadcast for Michigan baseball.
Clear. Yeah, defense has been much better.
Didn't lose the hat.
Yeah. Too sunny, maybe.
Yeah, can't.
Maybe he actually needs it today.
Yeah.
You know how to go back up if the bathroom takes too long. Right?
What's up?
You know how to go back up if the bathroom takes too long.
Yeah. And welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium, ready to begin things here in the bottom of the 6th inning for Michigan here in the bottom of the 6th, already leading 4-0. It'll be the center fielder Johnny Slater, shortstop Michael Bernard, and third baseman Drew Lugbauer stepping to the plate, trying to get things started and add some insurance runs on here in the bottom half of the 6th. They'll be facing Paulie Milto out for his 6th inning of work, who in the middle of retiring 13 straight Wolverine hitters. Slater steps in there, and the first pitch he sees from Milto here in the 6th misses outside for a ball, 1-0. Milto really masterful since that first inning. He had command issues, allowed the first 4 Wolverine batters to reach base. All 4 of them came around to score, and that's the difference so far today as Michigan leads 4-3. This 1-0 pitch from Slater is, or by Slater rather, is hit foul and breaks a windshield here in the parking lot. Unfortunate spot to park for that person. Worth noting, though, it was an illegal parking job, so possibly a bit of karma as Johnny Slater doesn't even realize that as he's evened up in the count 1-1. This time he swings and misses at that one and brings the count to 1-2. Fans who can see that car over there still very interested in seeing exactly what goes on. Meanwhile, Slater down on the count 1-2. The pitch from Milto misses outside for a ball, evens things up at 2-2. Slater so far 0 for 1 on the day. He walked and came around to score in the first inning. This time he lines one deep towards center fielder. Center fielder Eustace ranging back near the track at the wall. Gone! Leadoff home run, Johnny Slater. And just like that, Michigan widens their lead to a score of 5-3.
Yeah, you knew some insurance would be needed for the Wolverines with the potent Indiana offense. You didn't want to give them a chance to win the game with one swing of the bat. Slater makes sure that's not going to be the case. And a guy who, not known for his power coming into this year, has really displayed it during this home stretch. The second bomb he's dropped in as many weeks.
And that will bring up the shortstop, Michael Bernard. Bernard so far 0 for 1 on the day. Was hit by a pitch back in the first inning and grounded out in the third. So after retiring 13 straight, Milto gives up the leadoff home run in the 6th here to Johnny Slater. The first pitch here to Michael Bernard misses low for a ball. 1-0 the count. The 1-0 pitch now to Bernard. Misses again, just low for a ball, and Bernard in control of the count now 2-0. So we have our natural mics restored now, after still checking out the foul ball that broke the windshield over there.
The first time I think we've seen it this weekend, something actually crack. And it looks like it might be a Michigan Athletic Department personnel's car. It's parked over by Yost Ice Arena, which is usually reserved for media, coaches, and players.
It's the next 2 pitches to Bernard. One of them is in there for a strike. This one bounces in the dirt for a ball, brings the count to 3-1 on the shortstop for the Wolverines.
It's got the hazards going off and everything. I missed it.
It was a direct shot directly onto the windshield. No bounce off.
Where'd the baseball go?
Yost. I think it just bounced back towards the field.
I wonder if they get to keep it.
The 3-1 pitch lined by Bernard into left field for a base hit past the diving Houston. And just like that, the Wolverines with a couple runners able to reach base here to start the 6th inning. Now with nobody out and a runner on, it'll bring up the third baseman, Drew Lugbauer.
The third baseman, number 17.
Gotta be honest, I'm still transfixed with that smashed windshield. They always play the sound effects here at Ray Fisher Stadium, but I think this is the first time this year we've actually seen one smashed right in the heart of the windshield.
And I did mention it is parked illegally, so maybe a bit of karma there.
Yeah, but it's probably a coach or a player who's been assigned to park there. That'd be added insult to injury. They tow it.
Ooh. That would be a rough day at the ballpark, as it looks like we're going to potentially have a pitching change here. Head coach Chris Lemonis out to the mound, takes the ball from his starter Milto, who was really good after that first inning. He will turn the ball over to the Indiana Hoosier, running out of the bullpen right now. It is number 12, B.J. Sabal, coming in to pitch, the left-hander, ready to face the left-handed hitting Drew Lugbauer. Sabal, so far on the year, has appeared and he's pitched 21 innings. He sits with a 3-1 record and a 5.14 ERA. Sabal making 13 appearances to get that correct there for you. In 21 innings pitched, he's struck out 19, only walked 3, so very good with the command is the left-hander. And opponents are hitting 241 against him on the season. He will have his work cut out for him here as the most dangerous hitter in the Wolverine lineup. Drew Lugbauer steps up to the plate once the ball finishes his warm-up pitches.
Yeah, Sable stands in there, lengthy guy, and going lefty on lefty matchup. Indiana knows they got to try to keep this lead down to 2. Still waiting to see someone come out and claim ownership of that car.
And the athletic department personnel over here.
We got a Chrysler, I believe.
It is indeed. Here, the athletic department personnel walking around out here. Not sure if one of them is the owner, if they're just waiting for an owner to come up.
Thing is, we got the figure skating tournament going on at Yost, so it could be one of those cars. I can confirm that an athletic staffer does have the baseball, so I would guess that baseball is owned now by the owner of the smashed windshield.
I would guess so. At the very least, you get a baseball for your troubles. It's not really the...
I don't think insurance covers a baseball injury.
I don't think so. Although it wouldn't be the worst idea to try to fit that into your insurance coverage. You spend a lot of time at the ballpark, which...
If it's a coach, maybe they do got it covered.
Very possible. A great day to come out to the ballpark, even if you're not a coach or player who's obligated to be here, as so many have taken up on that offer. A beautiful sunny day here in Ann Arbor. Some great weather for a ball game. Michigan treating the fans right now as they lead 5-3 in the 6th inning. There's a runner on first with nobody out, with Drew Lugbauer stepping to the plate now. It's the first test against DJ Sable. Sable leans in and then comes set with the glove at his waist. Bit of a sidearm toss as Lugbauer bounced that one over to third. Miller charges in, thinks about throwing to second, but thinks better of it. Throws over to first, and a nice pick there by Gorski to record the out. Tough play all around. Nice execution there by the corners of the Indiana infield. There's now one out with Berdar on second. That will bring up Miles Lewis, the left fielder for the Wolverines here, with a runner in scoring position in the 6th.
Just an update on that windshield. They've just announced for the owner to come check on their car, so we'll update you when that person does show up.
Obviously the most invigorating story of today.
Perhaps of the weekend.
That's probably true given the way the first 2 games transpired for the Wolverines. A couple of dull ball games, to be honest. Despite all the scoring yesterday, it seemed like it was in hand for Indiana early on. This one, there is some drama on the field here, but again, a lot of drama going on just outside, as it looks like we may have...
Oh, no.
Right there. Berdar running on the pitch. This one's in there for a strike, and Berdar swipes third without a throw. So for Michael Berdar, his 13th stolen base on the season, and 17 attempts. Now a runner on third with one out for Miles Lewis, who's down in the count 0-1.
It appears it's a figure skating parent. Perhaps the most heartbreaking of outcomes. Someone who's not even enjoying their day at the ballpark comes out to a nice dent, but they did get the baseball. That much we can confirm. We'll update you when a replacement windshield shows up.
The 0-1 pitch misses inside on Bernard here, or rather on Lewis. Brings the count to 1-1. For the record, she doesn't look too upset. She looks,
I mean, what can you do?
relatively pleased, holding the ball up and almost as a trophy. And Sable comes set now for the 1-1. This ball is in there for a strike on the outside corner to Lewis. A very funky delivery from Sable. He comes sidearm from that left-handed side of the rubber. Really, all of his pitches don't have a ton of velocity, but do have that slinging movement from the left-handed batter's box towards the right-handed batter's box. So he gets his sign from the catcher Feynman here for the 1-2 pitch to Miles Lewis. Swung at and fouled straight back to the screen. Count's going to remain 1-2 on the left fielder for Michigan. Lewis, so far on the day, 0 for 2, but did have an RBI when he grounded out to first base back in the first inning. His 23rd RBI of the season. Has a chance to tack on another one here with Berdar at third. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball. Fouled back over the press box here. Bounces off the top of the press box, and that one gets out of play as the count's going to remain 1-2 on Miles Lewis, putting together another good at-bat so far. Back in the first inning before he drove in that run, he had a 9-pitch at-bat. It was the 9th pitch of the at-bat in which he bounced out to first. 1-2 pitch again here. This one's lined up the middle for a base hit. Lewis records his second RBI of the day as Bernard comes in to score on the single, and Michigan now leads by a score of 6-3. Miles Lewis getting the job done with the bat today. Runners in scoring position, able to drive them in. Wolverines now doubling up the Hoosiers. I imagine they like to tack on some more here. There's only one out in the 6th inning. And we'll bring up the designated hitter, Nick Poirier, for a tough lefty-lefty matchup for the Wolverines. That slinging motion from BJ Sable definitely makes it tough on the Wolverine left-handed hitters. Probably will attack early on in the count as soon as they can get something they think they can hit. Sure enough, Poirier spins out of the way of one, but it catches the inside corner for a strike. The count 0-1. Poirier, so far on the day, 1 for 2 with an RBI single back in the first inning. The 0-1 pitch to him. Another pitch that he spins out of the way of, but catches the strike zone, and they throw down to first, and the catcher Feynman is not in time. Very close play over there. But Miles Lewis able to dive back in safely. The count 0-2 now, though, on Nick Poirier.
Michigan needed to tack on a few insurance runs, I think, at least for the fans to feel comfortable. You know the bullpen has been good all year, but they didn't look good yesterday against this Indiana offense, which is a ton of talent from top to bottom. But 3 runs feels safe getting into the 7th, and they're not done yet.
And Nick Poirier takes one off the helmet there. Looks to be all right as he tracks down to first without any problems, but a potentially scary situation there. Poirier, I guess, will take it, though, as he was down on the count 0-2 and now gets awarded the free base. Runners on first and second now. Jonathan Engelman stepping to the plate.
We're going to have to go down there and get an exclusive interview with the victim of the smashed windshield. She seems to be taking good spirits. It looks like she's setting up for a nice Instagram. I mean, what can you do? You go watch your children figure skate and you come out and you have a smashed windshield, but you also have a new baseball.
Very fair. Maybe generalizing here, when you have a car like that, it seems like a cracked windshield might not be too much of a financial problem for you.
It is a nice SUV out there, American made.
It is indeed. As we have a mound visit here from the pitching coach Kyle Bunn, talking with the pitcher DJ Sable and the catcher Feynman.
And 3 runs is by no means put this game away for the Wolverines. Indiana can change this in 1 inning. We saw them hang, 4 yesterday, a couple 3-run innings yesterday as well.
Already a 3-run inning today, back in the 3rd for Indiana. If you're just joining us, the game recap for you. Michigan hopped out to a 4-0 lead in the 1st. Indiana tightened things up when they scored 3 in the 3rd to make it 4-3. And so far here in the 6th, the Wolverines have scored twice, including a leadoff homer from Johnny Slater. Currently lead 6-3 with a chance to tack on some more. Right now, Miles Lewis stands at second. Nick Poye stands over at first, and Jonathan Engelman steps up to the plate for his first look on the day at the reliever B.J. Sable. A tough situation here for Sable. Head coach Chris Lamona showing faith in the left-hander. He turns back towards second to chase Lewis back at the bag. Didn't end up having to make a throw, though. It seemed a bit of an indecision there between who was covering, between the shortstop Houston and the second baseman Butler. Have it sorted out now, though. They're both playing a double play depth, so can get to the bag easily. First pitch to Engelman is a strike. Looked like a changeup that caught the inside corner. Count 0-1 on the right fielder for the Wolverines. Sable likes to take his time between pitches, stands off to the third base side of the mound before stepping on and leaning in for the sign. Now he gets it, nods his head, and comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Line into left field for a base hit. Lewis coming around being stopped at third base. And the bases will be loaded for Jimmy Kerr.
Yeah, with 1 out in the inning, I think that's the smart call by Nick Schnabel over at third base. We've seen Didolo has a rocket of an arm, and he's a good fielder as well. Fielded that one quickly and was ready to fire it into home. And I think the smart decision. Lewis certainly is one of the faster players on this Michigan lineup, but Jimmy Kerr has shown the ability to, if nothing else, put it out in the outfield, and a fly ball is going to plate another run. I think with 2 outs, you probably send him with 1 out. No sense risking it. Keep the bases loaded and give a chance to your second baseman who's replaced Takeo Thomas in this series. Let him have an opportunity to make his mark here.
Like you said, a strong arm out there from Didolo. That throw that came in didn't end up amounting to anything, but it looked like it would have been with 2 home plate with plenty of time to spare and was on mark. Most likely would have had Lewis gunned down at the plate. But now, like you said, up to Jimmy Kerr, the replacement second baseman for the Wolverines this weekend. Has shown the ability to put the ball in play and get the ball out to the outfield, but again, a tough lefty-lefty matchup here. B.J. Sable almost releases that ball behind a left-handed batter. You saw Nick Poye have some troubles picking it up. Both on the first 2 pitches he took for strikes, as well as the one that ended up clipping him on the head. That one more of a fastball, though. Didn't really have time to get out of the way of that one. Just turned the head and took it off the helmet. He is out there at second right now, though. Lewis on third and Engelman over on first after the single. Kerr with a chance. Or rather, it will not be Jimmy Kerr. It looks like we're going to have a replacement. Joe Pace coming in. We saw this yesterday as head coach Eric Back is trying to play the matchup advantage here, sending righty Joe Pace into the game to replace Kerr. Saw Joe Pace come in yesterday and work a 4-pitch walk in his only plate appearance.
Yeah, his one hit this year, a 3-run home run. So perhaps that's why they bring him in. He's a home run or bust guy, and a home run here would put this game out of reach.
The first pitch he sees is in there for a strike at the knees. Good pitch there by Sable to get ahead. 0-1. Pace dangles that bat over the plate, slightly open stance in that right-handed batter's box. That opens up a bit more, and the 0-1 pitch misses away. Nice sliding stop there by Feynman. Brings the count to 1-1. As you mentioned, Pace's only hit this year was that 3-run homer. He's 1 for 6 on the year, but has walked 3 times. So despite a batting average of 167, holds a on-base percentage of .400. Yet to have a plate appearance this year, or yet to have an at-bat with bases loaded. He flies this one out towards right field. This should get the job done as Sowers camps underneath it. Lewis and Poirier both tag. The throw goes into second base, and a runner comes home to score in the form of Miles Lewis. Wolverines now, after pushing across 3 in the inning, lead by a score of 7-3. So Joe Pace coming in and getting the job done, exactly what he needed to do. Poirier was able to move up to third on the play, so there are runners at the corners now for the catcher, Harrison Wenson. Maybe unfortunately for Wenson, does not have a chance to get his second Grand Slam of the weekend, but I'm sure being the teammate that he is, not too torn up about adding another run to the scoreboard. He also still has a chance to do some damage here. That runner still in scoring position over at third in the form of Nick Poirier. Going over at first, taking aggressive lead, maybe trying to distract the pitcher Sable. First pitch to Wenson here, catches the outside corner for a strike. Count 0-1. Should Wenson be able to reach and extend the inning here, it'll go back up to the top of the Wolverine order in the form of Jake Bivens. He would be the 9th batter to bat should we get there. 1-0 pitch to Wenson. This one misses off the plate away again. Count now 2-0 on the Wolverine catcher. We'll see if they decide to give Wenson that fastball he usually looks for in these hitters' counts. Always looking to drive something in the air. That big uppercut swing of Wenson. Just missed a home run last time at bat. Hit one to the wall, or onto the warning track rather, in left field, just in front of that big brick wall. The same big brick wall he cleared yesterday in the 8th inning with a big grand slam. Stands in there ahead in the count 2-0, and pitch from Sable. Off the plate again, brings the count to 3-0. So Wenson starts off this at-bat the same way he started off his at-bat last inning in the 5th. Up 3-0 in the count. In that at-bat, he ended up taking a strike before hitting that long fly ball. See if he has the green light here on 3-0. He does not take a swing and takes one in there for a strike to make things 3-1. Again, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Runners at the corners. Wolverines have already pushed across 3 runs to extend their lead to 7-3. 3-1 pitch here. Misses inside to Wenson. He scoots out of the way of that one, and that will load the bases back up to the top of the Wolverine order and bringing Jake Bivens to the plate. So Bivens now with a chance to do some damage, getting his 4th plate appearance of the day. It'll be his first look at Sable, should he stay in, but it does not look like he will be staying in. As head coach Chris Lamona strides out to the mound, we're going to get a pitching change here before Bivens comes to the plate. We'll get the name and number for you when we come back here on WCBN Sports. You're listening to the broadcast of Michigan Baseball here on WCBN Sports, the official radio broadcast for the team. Taking it really well.
It is Kugler calling it, too, who's, I think, far and away their best announcer. But my question is, like, you can't do that from home. Like, you have to go to some studio. He called the spring game at Penn State yesterday. So I'm wondering, did they, like, fly him somewhere else just to call this game?
Maybe there's a spot at Penn State that they do it.
I guess. He lives in Omaha, so, yeah, it's weird.
It was a day game. They're
No, he definitely could have been in Detroit today.
really manageable.
Right. It's not like they didn't know the schedule.
Right.
I would hate that.
What?
Calling a game off a TV screen with, like, the gnat in a
No.
booth. Like, I've seen those setups. It's in, like, a small room, 2 dudes watching a TV screen with headsets on. The police are on the scene.
Oh, there we go.
He arrests her.
Illegally parked. Like, you definitely cannot park in front of the utilities door right there.
And
I'm
unfortunately,
pretty sure
that's
it's a-
what he's telling her.
Pretty sure it's a fire hazard. Like, that's probably like an emergency exit or something.
Don't you, like, just get windshield replacement? Like, that's what, like, you call Safe Light or something. I don't know. You have Safe Light, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a national thing. Like, what's the police gonna do?
Maybe
Ready?
a cheap option, I don't know. Yeah.
The first baseman, number 18, Jay Pittman.
And welcome back here to the bottom of the 6th inning. The reliever coming in for Indiana is Tim Herron. We saw Herron pitch back on Friday, pitched 2 scoreless innings of work. Lowered his ERA on the season down to 3.73. First batter he faces here is Jake Bivens, the Wolverine leadoff hitter. First pitch Bivens sees, misses low for a ball. Count 1-0. Bivens coming up with the bases loaded. Wolverines leading 7-3 after pushing across 3 already in the inning. There are 2 outs though, so if Herron manages to get Bivens, we'll work out of the jam. This one's hit high in the air towards the middle of the infield. Houston ranging out. Eustace coming in, and it drops in front of the left fielder, Didolo. Little indecision there between the left fielder, Didolo, center fielder, Eustace, and shortstop Houston. No one knew who had the ball, and it bounces in there. Going to go as an RBI single or 2 RBI single for Jake Bivens as 2 runs came around to score. The score now 9-3.
Yeah, that Bermuda Triangle allows that ball to find the turf safely. Didolo, that's his ball. He has to make that play. Houston was tracking well into the middle of the outfield from his shortstop position. Thought he was going to go overly aggressive and try to make that play, but Didolo all the way should have been waving guys off. The first time we've seen Indiana flinch defensively in this series, and it's going to cost him another couple of runs. Michigan finally gets a break their way after what had been a perfect offense or defensive outing from that outfield all weekend. Finally, we see a chink in the armor.
So the score now 9-3 in favor of the Wolverines after they've scored 5 in the inning. Now Slater, who led off the inning, bounces towards second. Butler makes the play and tosses over to first to record the 3rd out. But like we said, Michigan scoring 5 times in the inning stretches their lead all the way up to 9-3. We're through 6 here at Ray Fisher Stadium. You are listening to the official radio broadcast of Michigan baseball on WCBN Sports.
Clear. Got to do some reporting real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Get down there.
I thought about it, going and getting a little interview.
I think it's a good idea.
Remaining in the game, and now playing second base, Michigan, number 32, Joe Green. And now pitching for Michigan, number 29, Matt Walter.
Oh, here we go. Team shut it down, right?
Love to see Jackson Lamb come here and put the lights in.
He hasn't pitched yet this weekend, so he's got to come in.
He's
Got to use him. You got to no midweek game.
Tweet has been sent.
Hey, from WCBN or from?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
We're a news outlet, first and
Exactly.
foremost. Really hoping we can break the arrival of a replacement windshield. That'd be a big get for us.
Big one there.
I can tell you one thing: TKA doesn't have the same access we
There
do.
you go. Be a big break for us. Pun fully intended on that one.
Ready?
Yeah. Welcome back for the 7th inning of action here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leads Indiana by a score of 9-3. We have some replacements for you for the Wolverines. Joe Pace staying in the game to play second. And now on the mound for the Wolverines, the senior right-hander, Mac Lozier. Lozier, so far on the season, has appeared in 13 games, most recently back on Friday where he pitched a scoreless third of an inning. In those 13 games that he has appeared in, he's pitched 9 2/3 innings, yet to give up a run on the season, yet to walk a batter on the season, and he has struck out 12. The first batter he faces here is the catcher Feynman. His first pitch misses high for a ball, 1-0. Lozier working pretty quickly here with catcher Feynman at the plate. The second pitch to him also misses high for a ball. Count now 2-0.
Starting to wonder if she got a ticket over there. The police has been hovering around for a while. You mentioned parked in a utility zone.
A big swing and a miss there at the breaking ball from Lozier as the count now 2-1. As you mentioned, the police on the scene here of the cracked windshield. Bring you all the coverage here of that exciting and drama-filled event on WCBN Sports. The fourth pitch, the at-bat rather, from Lozier misses high, maybe a bit in on Feynman, brings the count to 3-1, and Lozier in danger of walking the very first batter he is allowed to reach on bases on a base on balls all season. 3-1 pitch, though, is in there for a strike at the belt, evens the count up at 3-2. Lozier, the right-hander for the Wolverines, comes set with the glove at his shoulders. And the 3-2 pitch misses low and away for outside. That is the first walk Mac Lozier has issued all season long as Feynman takes his base over at first. That will bring up the shortstop, Jeremy Houston.
Yeah, the bullpen has just looked out of sync all weekend. As you mentioned, Lozier been dominant with his ability to ID the strike zone. Issuing a walk here just continues a concerning trend for the Wolverine bullpen.
Wolverine bullpen been lights out all season long, especially Mac Lozier, who we mentioned. 12 strikeouts and no walks and is yet to allow a run on the season. The shortstop Houston steps in there and takes the first pitch for a strike on the inside corner. Trying to turn out of the way of that one, perhaps draw a call from home plate umpire David Condon. Condon did not bite, though. And now Lozier will get set for the 0-1 pitch. This one is tapped on the ground over the head of a leaping Lugbauer. What a play by Berdar in the hole. Didn't think that one had a chance of happening. Berdar barehanded the ball after it got over a leaping Lugbauer and fired over to second to Joe Pace covering the bag to record the out. My goodness, Michael Berdar.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's without a doubt going to be a SportsCenter top 10 play tonight. Michael Berdar, as you said, I thought all he could do was try to bat it down, keep it on the infield, hold the runners at first and second. He had to barehand it. That was the only chance he had of making that play, and then he fired it over to second. Great awareness and great arm strength with his body falling to the turf, firing it. Unbelievable play to get the lead runner at second. Remarkable stuff.
I'm still not sure how he did that. He was falling away towards the third base line and fired to second. That incredible arm strength he continually displays out there was on display on that play.
Yeah, it was the only chance he had to make that play was to do it exactly as he did. He had to perfectly barehand it and basically fire it in unison with catching it, and he did so.
So the center fielder, Laren Houston, steps in, takes the first pitch for a ball, and takes the second pitch also for a ball. One high, one low. And they count 2-0 now on Eustace. So after that play by Michael Berdar there, one out in the inning, runner on first. Michigan still leading 9-3. As the 2-0 from Lozier here comes across at the numbers on the Indiana jersey. Eustace not so happy with that call for a strike from home plate umpire David Condon, but the count 2-1 nonetheless. Lozier checks the runner at first. Houston now gets his sign and comes set. 2-1 pitch. Bounces in the dirt. Nice stop there by Wenson to prevent Houston from moving up. Had a bit of trouble locating exactly where he stopped it. It was right at his feet. But the count is going to run to 3-1 now on the Hoosier center fielder. Looked like possibly crossed up there as he now walks out to the mound to talk with Lozier. Lozier uncharacteristically wild in his command so far today. Already walked a batter. And now down 3-1 in the count to Eustace. Eustace on the day 0 for 1, hit by a pitch back in the third and struck out in the fifth. Both of those at-bats coming against the starter, Michael Hendrickson. Lozier comes set now, glove near his right shoulder. Now fires a 3-1 pitch. It's in there for a strike. As the home plate umpire, David Condon, rang up Eustace, and I guess that was strike 3. He missed a strike call in there. Must have called one of the balls a strike. I was going by the scoreboard here. It had a 3-1 count, but Eustace walks back to the dugout, so I guess that is indeed strike 3. There's 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, they don't do us any favors with the video board or the scoreboard up here. Always have to look at the home plate umpire for those balls and strikes.
What I think might have happened is I think they may have ruled that Eustace went around on that pitch that Wenson just blocked in the dirt. As this ball also bounced in the dirt, but Wenson fires down to first, trying to catch Houston sleeping. Does not do so. Count 1-0 on the second baseman, Tony Butler now. As home plate umpire David Condon getting some talk from the Indiana bullpen as to quiet, or from the Indiana dugout rather, as to quiet them down before the 1-0 pitch from Lozier. That one misses high, brings the count to 1-1, I guess. Apparently, he called that last pitch a strike. It didn't look like a strike from up here. I thought it bounced in the dirt the way Wenson fielded it. Maybe caught the low outside corner. The count 1-1 is a couple of questionable calls here from home plate umpire David Condon in the inning. This one is lined towards the left field line, hooking. Foul. Just was able to find the area between the Wolverine bullpen and the foul line. There's not much room here, but Butler was able to find it, and now he's down in the count 1-2. Lozier now steps behind the mound, touches that rosin bag a bit before getting ready for a big 1-2 pitch here to Tony Butler. Runner on first, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th for Indiana. They trail Michigan by a score of 9-3. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss there from Butler. So Lozier comes in, strikes out 2, and gets out of the inning without allowing a run. So after 6.5 here at Ray Fisher Stadium, Indiana trails Michigan by a score of 9-3. You're listening to the official radio broadcast for Michigan baseball on WCBN Sports. Should get out of how to take it?
Huh?
Should get out of how to take it?
Yeah, they must be allowed to park there because you see there's like a couple. Like, I don't think it's a fire hazard thing. I think it's just for loading trucks.
Yeah.
Because it's private property, right? So I don't think, like.
I don't know if that matters.
I don't know. The hydrant's across the street.
Yeah, it's there. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Like, if there's a hockey game, that's where the truck would be set up, though. On VTN or ESPN News or something.
I wonder, one of these doors has to be like a fire exit. Probably the double doors.
Has to be the what?
A fire exit of some sort.
A fire exit?
You gotta have a fire exit
Yeah.
on the side of the building.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be one of these doors over here. Probably not that one, I'm assuming.
But she's not blocking the exit. Like, you can get out.
Probably still a fire hazard while they block it off. I don't know. She noticed this. She's on the back. Okay, triple take.
Ready?
23.
And leading off the bottom of the 7th inning for Michigan,
Welcome back to Ray Fisher Stadium. Entering the bottom of the 7th inning here, we have another pitching change for the Indiana Hoosiers. Number 23, the left-handed freshman Andrew Salfrank coming in. Salfrank, so far on the season, has appeared in 10 games, started 6 of them. He is 1-1 with a 5.60 ERA, struck out 29 and walked 9 in 27 of 1 and 1/3 inning of work. Batter's hitting .345 against him though. The first batter he'll face is Michael Berdar. That one misses high and away. Berdar up in the count 1-0. See 1-0 pitch now here. Catches the plate here around the belt area of Berdar. Count evened up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, it's been a nice response, though, for Michigan today. After the first couple games don't go your way, you wonder if the AS fold in the towel knowing they can't win the series. But good to see some good pitching to start this game from Hendrickson after he got roughed up in the third. He responded well, and then Michigan now at the bullpen. Lozier looked good. And the Michigan bats really came to play, starting off the game with patient, disciplined at-bats to plate 4 runs in the first on just 1 hit. They haven't had many hits, but they've made the most of their opportunities.
And speaking of hits, Berdar deposits the 2-1 pitch into left field for a leadoff base hit here in the 8th inning. He'll be on first with Drew Lugbauer striding to the plate. Berdar's second hit of the ball game, looking to try to score his 3rd run of the ball game. Lugbauer, meanwhile, 0 for 2 on the ball game. Let's record a hit. Bit of a quiet weekend out of him. So far on the day, walked back in the first, drive in a run. That's the only thing going so far on the day. First pitch you see here from the lefty, Salfrank. Big swing and a miss on a pitch that dipped low and in. The count 0-1 on the big Wolverine third baseman. Berdar over there at first, already swiped a bag today. Another big swing out of Lugbauer here on the 0-1 pitch. Brings the count to 0-2 in favor of the Indiana left-hander Salfrank. Lugbauer stands in there in the 0-2 pitch. Does not chase this one that bounces low and away. A nice stop there by now Matheny behind the plate. It is the son of Mike Matheny,
former Michigan Wolverine, and, of course, world champion manager of the St. Louis Cardinals.
The 1-2 pitch, Berdar check swings. It's ruled he went around for strike 3, but Berdar took off on the play and swipes his 2nd bag of the day. He'll be at second, but Lugbauer down on strikes for the first out of the inning. So now it'll be 1 out and a runner on second for the left fielder, Miles Lewis.
And cool to see Matheny, also a catcher like his dad. You so often see sons of athletes perhaps shy away from trying to replicate the position that their fathers played. But Matheny, much like his father, standing behind the plate, certainly had a good coach growing up.
I have to say, I saw a round of young Jake Matheny's batting practice yesterday, and he can really hit. As Salfrank spins back and fires a pickoff throw to second, Berdar dives back in safely. Matheny relieving the starting catcher Ryan Feynman on the day. A young catching core for the Indiana Hoosiers. Feynman just a sophomore, Matheny a freshman. Lewis squares around a bunt here and gets a piece of it, but into the glove of Matheny behind the plate as the count goes to 0-1. Lewis started off the game batting a couple times from the left-handed side of the plate against the righty Milto, in a sense flipped around to the right side of the plate, facing the left-handed pitchers Tim Herron, as well as now here Andrew Salfranker. My mistake, it was BJ Sable that he faced. As this pitch misses low for a ball, he was the count up at 1-1. Berdar out there at second already. 2 stolen bases on the day. Swiped third back just last inning in the 6th. They're keeping much more attention to him as Butler shaded over near that second base bag. Another pickoff throw as Berdar thought about diving back in, ended up standing and Butler just not quite able to get the tag down in time. Had Bernard off balance, maybe the opportunity to make an out on the base paths. Went by the wayside, though, as Bernard still standing out there. Miles Lewis still standing at the plate with a 1-1 count. Bernard fakes going in the 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a strike. Good movement on that pitch from Sal Frank. And now Lewis down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sal Frank stands upright as he gets his sign, very upright when he comes set with the glove around his waist. And Lewis pops this one out towards right field. Sowers ranging in to make the play. He does so. Tosses back into the infield. Bernard will not advance, but that's 2 outs in the inning now with the designated hitter Nick Poirier stepping up to the plate.
Designated hitter number 28, Nick Poirier.
Poirier so far on the day, 1 for 2. Had an RBI single back in the first, and just last inning in the 6th was hit by a pitch on the head. Had a tough lefty-lefty matchup against BJ Sable. Got down to the count 0-2, and I guess you could say he was bailed out. Hard to say he got bailed out with you getting clipped in the head. The first pitch to him this at-bat is on the outside corner, another breaking ball there for a strike. So the approach from these Indiana left-handed pitchers is to attack Nick Poirier with those breaking balls. Seem to have a little bit of trouble picking him up today. The 0-1 pitch to Poirier. Another breaking ball, another one in there for a strike as Poirier turns away from that one, but it ended up coming right over the heart of the plate. 0-2 the count. I'd imagine here Sal Frank probably going to go with that breaking ball yet again on 0-2. Fastball this time, though. Misses high. Bit inside maybe, and count now 1-2. So almost a carbon copy of the last at-bat, getting Poirier off balance with a couple breaking balls and coming with a high fastball. This time did not clip Poirier, though. Now we get set for a 1-2 pitch. There's that breaking ball. Swing and a miss from Poirier for strike 3. So a couple strikeouts on the inning for Sal Frank. Michigan has a leadoff single from Bernard, but cannot score him. After 7 innings here at Ray Fisher Stadium, the score still sits at Michigan 9, Indiana 3. You are listening to the official Michigan baseball broadcast here on WCBN Sports.
How much is an MLB hat? Like the official Cubs hat? $40?
Oh, I think it depends on how official. Probably 30 to 40.
Like I'm talking the on-field, new era.
It might be up to like 45.
Because the one for this team's $37.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the American flag on it like ours do.
I didn't even notice ours does.
Yeah, it does on the, like over the left ear.
Huh.
I wish we had more in the rotation, but I guess most MLB teams don't have multiple hats.
Right.
Like the Cubs don't have a second, do they? White
They have their
Sox,
spring training hats, but
White Sox don't. Yankees don't. Red Sox do. D-backs do.
Red Sox do.
Dodgers do not. The Giants do. Rockies do. Ready?
Yeah, 1 second. Go ahead. Welcome back for the 8th inning of action here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leading Indiana by a score of 9-3. Having another pitching change for you. Coming in on the mound for the Wolverines is the left-handed freshman Tommy Henry. Henry pitched a couple scoreless innings back in Friday's ballgame. He has appeared in 13 games altogether, holds a 3-1 record and a .67 ERA. It's an extraordinary job by the freshman on the season. In his 27 innings of work, he has struck out 33 and walked 9. Really the most used in terms of innings pitched reliever for the Wolverines on the year. Freshman left-hander has done a remarkable job, and was work cut out for him as he faces the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the Indiana lineup, starting with Craig Dedalo. DeDelo, the right-handed left fielder, takes the first pitch, low and in for a ball, 1-0. Following DeDelo is the third baseman Luke Miller and the right fielder Logan Sowers. Big swing and a miss here, though. And what appeared to be a changeup out of the hand of Tommy Henry brings the count to 1-1 on DeDelo. The 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there for strike two, and it appears we actually have a change at the plate. Here's the junior right-hander Cade Crisco replacing DeDelo. He's down in the count 1-2 though to Henry, and he fouls this one straight back to the screen. The count remains 1-2. Crisco, so far on the season, he's yet to record an at-bat on the year. This very first at-bat of the season. Down 1-2, and this pitch is swung at and fouled back behind the plate, out of play. I have a sneaking suspicion this isn't actually Cade Crisco, and someone may have mixed up jerseys. Cade Crisco listed as a right-handed pitcher that comes out of the bullpen for Indiana. This one is once again fouled back behind the plate. Count's going to remain 1-2 on whoever this is at bat.
Yeah, because we did see Crisco come out of the bullpen yesterday and throw a third of an inning, but didn't see him in the batter's box at all.
And another foul ball back to the screen. Count remains 1-2 on who I guess we're going to call Cade Crisco for the moment.
We got it. We have nothing else to work with.
Henry having trouble putting Crisco away. The 8th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. And it's once again fouled back to the screen behind the plate. We'll do it again at 1-2 after a 5th straight foul ball.
Pretty good at-bat being put together by the supposed relief pitcher.
Another 1-2 pitch from Henry. Big swing and a miss there on that good breaking ball from Henry. Finally sets down the assumed Cade Crisco for strike three. There's one out in the inning here in the top of the 8th.
Third baseman number 8, Luke Miller.
That will bring up the third baseman Luke Miller. Miller 1 for 3 on the ball game with a double back in the 3rd inning to open the scoring for the Hoosiers. He drove in 2 with that double. They would tack on 1 more. The on-deck hitter Logan Sowers driving in Miller. That's all they would get to this point. First pitch to Miller, misses low and away for a ball, 1-0. Henry so far not using that breaking ball that's been so effective for him so far. This one, another fastball in there for a strike, 1-1. Really just the threat of that breaking ball from Tommy Henry. I'm sure it's on every scouting report you get. Gets in the heads of hitters, and that fastball seems that much faster. There is that fastball yet again. It catches the inside corner. It brings the count to 1-2. Henry works out of the windup. Not your typical reliever. And another fastball here is fouled down the right field line as Miller was just a tad late. That one gets into that right field corner, but again, just fouls it hooked away from the right fielder Engelman. And we'll do it again at 1-2. Miller taps the plate with that bat, waves it over the plate, and Henry winds up here for the 1-2 pitch. This one's hit high and deep towards left field. The left fielder Lewis ranging back at the track. The wall gone! And just like that, Luke Miller gets the Indiana Hoosiers just a bit closer. The score now sits at 9-4 after a 1-out solo home run from Miller.
Only fitting, Indiana's had a home run each of the first 2 games. Why not add one on getaway day here in Ann Arbor? The Big Ten leaders in home runs. Do it again. I think that's now 45 on the season for this Hoosier squad.
They had 40 coming in the weekend, 5 in 3 games so far in this one.
May even be 46.
1 on Friday, 3 yesterday, and looks like it might be the end of the day for Tommy Henry. Head coach Eric Bakich is making the long walk out to the mound. And now he does motion down for the right-hander. We'll get the name and number for the Wolverine replacement for you. When we come back, you're listening to Michigan Baseball, the official radio broadcast for the team on WCBN Sports. That was a shot.
No doubt about it.
There was a little bit of doubt just at the wall.
Oh, yes. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
It's over. It's been fun.
Okay.
It's been a fun
See you
weekend.
guys. Leave.
I mean, how could he not be an MLB prospect?
I
He
think he
literally-
was drafted, wasn't that?
What?
I think he was drafted.
But he just, all he does is end games.
Yeah.
You put him in and the game is over now.
Now pitching for Michigan, number 10, Jackson.
I'm pretty sure he was drafted. Let me see. It says in here somewhere.
Yeah, he was drafted in the 3rd round in 2013.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But he was an outfielder
He
then.
could have been the 3rd round.
What?
Could have been the 3rd round. 35th round or 20th round by the Rangers in 2013 when he was an outfielder.
In high school, he was a 3rd round pick.
It says 20th here.
In high school, out of high school?
Yeah. But he would have gone, if he was a 3rd round pick out of high school, he would have gone.
Oh, I see. It says he turned down a 3rd round MLB draft offer. So they had offered, we're going to take you in the 3rd.
Wow.
My buddy had that too in high
Wow.
school. Like an 8th round, and they said what the guaranteed money would be.
Yeah.
And then you say no or yes, and they draft you or they don't.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was a fantastic outfielder.
He's been drafted twice at 20th round by the Rangers. He was an outfielder. Then last year by the Cardinals at 35th round pick. So nice job, Jackson. Turned down that offer. Come join the Cubs stable of arms in the bullpen. All right, let's do this. And we're here back in the top of the 8th inning. Michigan leading Indiana by a score of 9-4 after the solo home run by Luke Miller. And Michigan not messing around now, going to the closer, Jackson Lamb, out of the bullpen. First hitter he'll face is Logan Sowers. In the first pitch, 2 Sowers misses high for a ball, 1-0. Numbers for Jackson Lamb on the season just exemplary. 16 appearances, 8 saves, a 0.00 earned run average. He struck out 15, only walked 5. And the second pitch here to Sowers is fouled back to the screen behind home plate and even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lamb getting his first action of the weekend. It's been a little while since he was able to come into a ball game for the Wolverines. 1-1 pitch, swung at and missed for a strike. Going to bring things to 1-2 on the right fielder for the Hoosiers, Logan Sowers. Sowers now in that right-handed batter's box. Waits the pitch from the right-handed flamethrower Lamb. Fastball misses high for a ball, 2-2. Lamb featuring those high fastballs here in this at-bat to Sowers. Missed with a couple of them. On mark with a couple more. See if he goes back up there with a 2-2. It's a fastball that comes a little bit lower and in on Sowers. He's able to get a piece of it and foul it off near the parking lot on the right side of the field. Out of play. Count's going to remain 2-2. We sit with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Michigan leads Indiana by a score of 9-4. Another 2-2 pitch, just getting a piece of it, is Sowers and fouling it back behind the plate off the screen. And we'll do it again at 2-2. And we mentioned has that 0.0 ERA. Has given up a run on the season, but it was unearned. He comes set now for the 2-2 pitch again. A breaking ball this time. Catches him looking. No chance did Sowers stand on that one. He will take the long walk back to the dugout. Jackson Lamb just pulled the string on him there. And there are 2 outs in the 8th, bringing up the designated hitter, Matt Lloyd. There was a matchup to see this weekend. It's this matchup right here. The best hitter for the Hoosiers, Matt Lloyd, and possibly the Wolverines' best pitcher in Jackson Lamb on the mound. Lloyd, a quiet game so far today, 0 for 3. First pitch he sees from Lamb misses low and in for a ball, 1-0. Of course, Lloyd yesterday reached base in all 6 of his plate appearances. Had 2 doubles and a homer, walked a couple times, and also reached on a drop third strike. This one bounces low in the dirt to bring the count to 2-0 on the designated hitter for the Hoosiers. Despite the 0 for 3 day today, Matt Lloyd's batting average still sitting at .330. He takes a big hack at this 2-0 pitch from Lamb and fouls it back to the screen. Going to bring the count to 2-1. Lloyd tied for the team lead in home runs. Luke Miller, who just hit that solo shot a couple batters ago, catching up. He's got 8. Meanwhile, Craig Dedelo and the hitter at the plate, Matt Lloyd, are sitting at 9. 2-1 pitch here again, foul straight back to the screen on a big swing from Lloyd. Lloyd perhaps looking to break that tie with Craig Dedelo. Count now 2-2. Lamb features that fastball, an electric fastball it is. Of course, not afraid to come with that breaking ball, as we saw last at bat against Logan Sowers. I'm sure Lloyd has that in the back of his mind now. It's a 2-2 pitch, a fastball, and Lloyd well behind that one as it's fouled off out of play to the left side near Yost Ice Arena. We'll do it again here on 2-2. The theme of the inning being fouling off 2 strike pitches for Indiana. All 4 batters who have come to the plate in the inning have done so. Lloyd now ready for the 2-2 pitch from Lamb. This one is lined back up the middle for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting there by Matt Lloyd, facing a stiff test in Jackson Lamb. He wins the battle and is on first now with 2 outs. And that will bring up the first baseman, Matt Gorski. Gorski, so far on the day, 1 for 3, singled back in the 4th inning and bookended that with a ground out and a fly out. He'll get his first look at Lamb as this pitch is in there for a strike on the inside corner.
You do wonder what the mindset is, too. Lamb, usually the closer, obviously coming in a non-save situation. And there are closers who sometimes it doesn't work with. Mentally, they just don't handle it well when they don't come in with the bases empty, nobody out in the 9th.
That one is fouled off down the right field line and into the Indiana bullpen. Going to bring the count to 0-2. So Lamb, even if that mindset isn't quite right, now solidly ahead in the count here. 0-2 on the first baseman, Gorski. We saw him break out that breaking ball to Logan Sowers. See if he does it again here on Gorski, who tries to blow him away with that fastball. 0-2 pitch. Fastball called, strike 3 on the outside edge. Gorski did not stand a chance, and Lamb records 2 strikeouts in his 2 outs of the inning. We are through 7.5 here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leads Indiana by a score of 9-4 on the official radio broadcast for Michigan Baseball, WCBN Sports. Decided to sit right next to the mic. I guess it is Crisco.
Wait, did he say Crisco's pitching?
No, Crisco's in
Okay.
left field.
Bark in the park.
There's not enough barking today. All right. Welcome back for the bottom of the 8th here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan leading Indiana by a score of 9-4. We have a new pitcher for the Indiana Hoosiers. Number 19, Brad Littleton, stepping out to the mound. Littleton, the right-handed freshman, has appeared in 8 games on the year, holds an 8.22 ERA. He's walked 5, only struck out 3 on the season. Opponents hitting .333 against him. He will face Jonathan Engelman to lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th. Engelman shoots the first pitch back up the middle for a base hit, wasting no time attacking the freshman Littleton, and he's on with a leadoff single. He'll be on first with the second baseman Joe Pace striding to the plate.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there by Engelman. He's coming out aggressive on that at-bat and seeing a pitch he liked, first pitch, sending it right back up the middle. Doing exactly what he could out of the first pitch he's seen from Brad Littleton this weekend.
So with Engelman over on first, Joe Pace getting his second plate appearance on the ball game. Came in the 6th inning to replace Johnny Kerr. Ended up hitting a sacrifice fly and driving in a run for the Wolverines. The first pitch here clips him on the helmet.
He was fired up there, too. He really flung that bat over to first base. Wow.
So he will stride down over to first base. The clipped him off the back. It was a breaking ball that kind of came down. Couldn't quite tell exactly where it got him from the angle, but on the replay we do see right off around the numbers. He bent over. You don't know.
It looked like it might have got a piece of the bat, too.
Nonetheless, awarded a hit by pitch is Joe Pace. He moves over down to first base. Engelman moves up to second. And now with nobody out in the inning, a couple runners on for Harrison Wenson. Wenson 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout and a flyout. Also walked back in the 6th. First pitch to Wenson, misses high for a ball. Count 1-0. Seeing Wenson get ahead in the count a couple times already on the ball game today. Worked 3-0 counts, 3-1 counts back in the 5th and 6th innings. Second pitch here from Littleton. Fastball out misses low, so another 2-0 count on Harrison Wenson. So you hear the barking of the dogs in the distance. Bark at the park today at Ray Fisher Stadium. Saw a smattering of dogs making their way into the ballpark before the game. This 2-0 pitch line deep towards left field. Left fielder Crisco turned around and bounces off the wall. The center fielder Eustace is going to have to play it. 1 run comes in. Joe Pace held at third, but a big RBI double there from Harrison Wenson off the left field wall makes things 10-4 in favor of the Wolverines.
Yeah, I think Schnabel could have set Pace there. The cutoff man just getting the baseball as Pace had started to round from third. No sense in risking a potential injury in a tough play at the plate with the lead securely in Michigan's favor, but a good piece of hitting there by Wenson. And I think there you're just seeing the loss of Didolo in the lineup because he's been flawless out there in left field. Now with the replacement in Crisco, misjudged it, I think, off the bat and then had to just recuperate and try to find it off the ricochet.
So now Jake Bivens will be stepping in with runners on second and third. He grounds one. Diving stab made at first by Gorski. He sprints over to first. Beats him by a half a step as Bivens and Gorski collided for a second over at the first base bag. And Bivens slapping his hands, thought he may have beaten that one. But Gorski saved a run there, probably 2 runs. As Joe Pace had to hold thanks to how hard that ball was hit.
I do wonder if this game was a bit tighter, if Bakich comes out and tries to argue. We saw base runner interference granted on Friday night, and on a bang-bang play, looks like the pitcher did well enough in Littleton to stay out of the base path, but it was a really close play at first. Moves the runners over, nonetheless.
And now Slater drives one deep into center field. Eustace going back near the track. He gets turned around and makes a grab overhead. A nice grab there by Eustace, but a run will score on the sacrifice fly from Slater. Wenson also moves up to third. The score now 11-4 in favor of Michigan.
Yeah, a couple good drives today for Johnny Slater into the deepest part of the ballpark, just looking to tack on some more insurance. Did exactly what he needed to do there.
That's Slater's second RBI of the day. Of course, had that long home run to straightaway center back in the 6th inning. His season total now up to 37. Second on the Wolverines team. That'll bring up Michael Berdar now with 2 gone and a runner on third. Berdar getting his first look at the righty Littleton on the day. First pitch here. Just catches the inside corner for a strike. Berdar, as we see him do relatively often, starts to swing and stops those hands well before getting to the check swing position, especially on those inside pitches. The 0-1 pitch here. This one misses inside. He dances out of the way. The count evened up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Michigan, a great way to rebound after dropping the first 2 games of this series, in full command here. The 1-1 pitch to Berdar misses high and away for a ball, 2-1. Back on Friday, Indiana taking the first game by a score of 1-0, and taking yesterday's game by a score of 12-9. As Berdar lines one into left field for a base hit, and now this game is going to go to a score of 12-4 in favor of Michigan, with Michael Berdar's 3rd single of the ball game. He will be on first now with Drew Lugbauer striding to the plate.
Seems like Michigan's bats just taking out their frustrations from a slow first 2 games of this 3-game series, looking to plate every run they can here with the game securely in hand. They want to keep going for more.
And somewhat oddly, Michigan only scored in 3 innings in this one. They scored 4 in the first, 5 in the 6th, and 3 here in the 8th. And you might think that's indicative of one part of the lineup doing all the damage, but really, if you look at the Wolverine lineup, every single person in the starting lineup has scored a run on the ball game today. The first pitch to Lugbauer is fouled back behind the plate, not a play, 0-1.
Lugbauer, the lone starter, still looking for a base knock.
He stands in there now with the 0-1 pitch coming from Littleton. A off-speed pitch is in there for a strike, 0-2. Lugbauer going into a bit of a slump here after a torrid couple weeks in which he earned 1 Player of the Week honor, Big Ten Player of the Week, as well as a perfect game Player of the Week back at the first week of April. The 0-2 pitch here misses off the plate away from Littleton, brings the count to 1-2. And during this slump, Lugbauer's average down to 279. The 1-2 pitch to him. Big swing and a miss there as he was ahead of an off-speed pitch from Littleton. And that will end the inning, but Michigan tacks on 3 more runs. After 8 innings here at Ray Fisher Stadium, they lead by a score of 12-4. You're listening to the Michigan Baseball Broadcast, the official radio broadcast for the team here on WCBN Sports.
New pitcher, Keith Lehman.
Keith Lehman, the senior right-hander.
He hasn't thrown much.
He comes into games like this out of Western Springs, Illinois.
Ready?
Yeah. And we're back here at Ray Fisher Stadium entering the 9th inning. Michigan leading Indiana by a score of 12-4. And there'll be a new pitcher for the Wolverines trying to finish this one off. It'll be Keith Lehman, the senior right-hander out of Western Springs, Illinois. Lehman, not a ton of action so far on the season, only made 6 appearances. But in those 6 appearances and 5 1/3 innings pitched, his ERA sits with a sparkling 0.00. Struck out 7 and walked 3. Opponents only hitting .059 against him. The first batter he'll face today is the replacement catcher for the day, Jake Matheny. Matheny in limited action on the year. He's had 76 at-bats, a .211 batting average. Does have himself a couple home runs and a couple doubles. And a big swing there out of Matheny puts him down in the count 0-1. Lehman, like Tommy Henry before him, also works out of the windup. The 0-1 pitch fouled back behind us here, out of play. Gonna bring the count to 0-2. So the Wolverines look like they will avoid the sweep here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Next weekend, they go away to Rutgers in Piscataway, New Jersey. It's the 0-2 pitch from Lehman, breaking ball. Misses high, 1-2. For a 3-game series of Big Ten play before returning home the very next weekend to face the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll have all 3 of those games for you here on WCBN Sports. The 1-2 pitch is lined into left field for a base hit for Matheny. So a leadoff runner on here in the 9th inning for Indiana as they continue their string of having a runner on in every single inning of the ballgame. That will bring up another pinch hitter, it looks like. Replacing the shortstop, Jeremy Houston. It's going to be number 36, Colby Stratton.
And I think what's really telling from this weekend, looking at the bigger picture, Michigan, a lot of upperclassmen, both in their bullpen and in their starting rotation, all 3 starters this weekend, juniors. So guys who you expect to be back, but if they're not, it's Michigan's got guys who can come in and be starters next year, which you'd expect from guys who, pitch out of the windup, out of the bullpen. These are guys who expect to start at some point in their careers.
First pitch to Stratton gets underneath the glove of Wentz and back to the backstop, so Matheny will move up to second. And the count will go to 1-0 on the new shortstop, Stratton.
Because I think the only senior we've seen throw this weekend is Jackson Lamb.
So Jackson Lamb, Mac Lozier also earlier on today. Be back into that bullpen, but plenty of replacements for them after they leave their time here in Ann Arbor. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike to Stratton. Evens the count up at 1-1.
Lozier was a redshirt candidate to start this year. Missed a lot of the opening games this year with an injury, but with how well the team's playing, they knew they would need him as a setup guy out of the bullpen, where he's been masterful.
This one is lined into left field again for a base hit. Lewis up with it. Matheny being held at third base. So runners at the corners now here with nobody out in the 9th. Indiana not ready to go away quietly on the 3rd game of this series.
Yeah, and that's going to get some activity up in the Michigan bullpen.
Not sure if maybe head coach Eric Bakich regretting the decision not to send Jackson Lamb out here again for the 9th. It was a long half inning there in the bottom of the 8th. Perhaps played into the decision to change pitchers. For now, though, it's Keith Lehman's inning. He will face the center fielder, Laren Eustace. Or looks like once again we're going to have another pinch hitter. It'll be 18, Austin Cangliosi. Big swing and a miss here for strike number 1. So Indiana on getaway day here, emptying the bench a bit. Getting the couple of senior infielders some at-bats here. And this one is hit high and foul behind home plate, out of play. Count now 0-2 on Cangliosi. Cangliosi in 42 at-bats on the year, a 190 batting average. On base percentage sits at .306. Has himself 1 homer, 1 triple, and 1 double on the year. 0-2 pitch here, hit high and foul again behind the plate. And we're going to do it again at 0-2. Lehman looking for that put-away pitch here. Try to get Kangalosi, who's already struck out 14 times on the year in that limited time. Another 0-2 pitch here from Lehman. Again, fouled off. This time, Bivens ranging over near that wall on the right side. He reaches out, makes the grab shy of the wall. For a foul pop out there. Record out number 1 here in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, and he was a bit lackadaisical getting to that baseball. I don't think he realized how much room he had because he really stretched out like he was going to be colliding with the wall. Poor communication. Usually your fellow infielders help you out, give you some sense of how far away you are from hitting the wall, because he stretched out like he was going to have to reach over an obstruction. Not the case. And I think fortunate that Matheny didn't even consider making a play towards the plate and inducing a throw, because Bivens was not prepared to throw home. Wasn't even really alert of where he was on the field to make the catch.
So now Tony Butler, the second baseman, steps in and takes a strike from Lehman. Count 0-1. Butler, his 5th plate appearance of the day, currently 1 for 3. A single and also had a sacrifice bunt back in the 3rd. 0-1 pitch here, misses high for a ball, evens things up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wolverines would sure like a ground ball here out of Butler if they can get it. Those middle infielders playing at double play depth. Berdar over there at short and Pace at second. 1-1 pitch. Misses low and away for a ball. Breaking ball from Lehman, perhaps trying to induce one of those ground balls, staying down in the zone, trying to get Butler to hack on one that he'll pound into the ground. Lehman leans over, puts that glove on his front leg as he gets the sign. Now comes set with the glove about letter high. And this one is golfed out towards deep center. Slater going back near the track, near the wall. Makes the grab before crashing into the wall. Nice grab there by Johnny Slater on the throw back towards the infield. Not in time to double up Stratton at first. He had gotten all the way to second base. It will go down as a sacrifice fly as the Wolverines were not able to double up Stratton.
They're going to say Stratton may have not came back and touched second base. Drew Lugbar immediately was pointing to second. Yeah.
That is indeed the call. Stratton went past second base, did not come back to cross it before running back to first, and that is a double play in the 3rd out of the inning. Michigan wins.
The first base coach, though. Not sure how long you could argue. Matt Ryda, though, and the head coach Chris Lemonis out there jawing with the umpiring crew. They want an explanation. They may not get one. It looks like the umpires are going to head off the field. This game is over, much to the dismay of Chris Lemonis.
And I'm not sure exactly what the official ruling is. I don't believe the run counts.
I think the run counts because the out didn't occur. The tag up was good.
Play now.
The tag up was good. I don't think that's what the argument is. I think the argument is that the runner tagged up from first, Stratton. I don't believe he touched second base on his. I think he turned from second, headed for third, because he thought that ball was going to hit the wall, and then didn't manage to touch second base on his way back to first.
It did indeed look like.
And the umpires are off. They're out of the concourse.
They have left. So I believe the final score should be 12-4. Currently reached 12-5.
I think it's 12-5. I think the run counts only because that 3rd and final out occurred after the runner came to score.
After the play was over. So it looks like Michigan wins this one by a score of 12-5 after we have that sorted out here. Either way, it's a Michigan win for you. They're able to salvage this 3-game series. The winning pitcher on the day will be the starter, Michael Hendrickson. His record will go to 4-1. It'll be Paulie Milto taking the loss. He drops to 3-3. So that's all we have for you here from Ray Fisher Stadium. Michigan winning by a score of 12-5. I'm Austin Falco for Leo Blavin here at WCBN Sports. We thank you for listening, and we'll leave you with a good night, and as always, a Go Blue.